to another live stream. We have potentially a big one today. Lots of people with flagged players wanting hopefully early Arsenal team news. Lots of people with 2 free transfers as well. Maybe you've already made one. I'm not going to comment on whether I've already made one or not, but maybe I have. We'll see in a second. Do let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what you're doing right now. I will apologise in advance. I'm a little bit ill. So if you hear me coughing or I just don't sound myself, I apologise, but I will soldier through it. Don't you worry. Lots of people wanting to sell Saka, and we will discuss Saka. I wouldn't be selling him, though, myself. I also wouldn't be dropping him. I would just start him. But we'll discuss all of that in a sec. Why I think that, at least. Hopefully we get early Arsenal team news. I mean, Arsenal are a 3 p.m. kickoff, so they're not the early game, but we do often get some Arsenal team leaks well ahead of kickoff, so there's a chance we get something on Saka before then. Morning, everyone. Actually set my alarm to wake up to watch this today. Totally shattered. Well done. Well done for setting your alarm. I don't blame you if you sleep through it, and I don't blame you if you fall asleep during my stream as well. It's absolutely fair enough. If I wasn't streaming right now, I would be asleep. JML with the big boy super chat already says, start in Burmo or Alvarez. Love the content. Thank you very much, JML. I would start in Burmo. I think Chelsea are a better defence than Liverpool, firstly. And I think Mbeumo is involved in a higher percentage of Brentford's goals than Alvarez is for City, secondly. And then thirdly, Mbeumo is on penalties. They're both on corners, so they've both got that. But yeah, Mbeumo just has more routes to points. So I would say Mbeumo. Another super chat already. Mr. Curry, God, they're coming in quick, thick and fast already. Who should I get in for Maddison? Thinking of getting Szoboszlai, Saka or Gordon. I don't like Szoboszlai. He can get you the odd return, but just like longer term, I don't see many returns coming from him. For this week, Gordon's the safer bet, but I think long term you are probably still going to want Saka. Let's see if we get any early team news on Saka, and if we don't and you don't want to risk it, then maybe Gordon's the one. Right, let me show you the transfer that I made. Who do we think I transferred in? I mean, I did tweet that about Martinelli, but people think that's a ploy. Did I maybe bring in Mbeumo? Who knows? Did I maybe bring in Eze? Who knows? Morning, dude. Do you think Reguilon will start for Man United? No. I actually think it will be Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Could be Reguilon. I think it will be Dalot at left back and Wan-Bissaka at right back, though, personally. Right, let's look at the team. I do have a second free transfer, but the first free transfer was Maddison to Martinelli. I made that move last night, and I'm glad I did because Maddison dropped in price and Martinelli rose in price. So I prevented myself from losing 0.2 million by making the move last night. What do you think of that, chat? Do we like it? Let me know if we like it. Tanishk says, I don't think anyone has been more unlucky than me this season injury-wise. I've had James Steele, Timber, Botman, Estu, Richarlison, Jesus, Erdegaard, Saka, Diaz, and Flecken. Wow. Oh, that is an awful list. See, this is why FPL is largely luck as well. Like, some of those are fantastic picks, but they just end up getting injured. You've just got to accept that such a large amount of FPL is luck. You obviously need to put yourself in the position to get lucky, of course, but sometimes you can put yourself in that position and you still get unlucky. IVE says, or Eve, with a solid first 11 this week, is a bench boost viable with Areola, Porro, Tsimikas, Archer? I've got a feeling. I wanted to break out into song then. Was it Black Eyed Peas? I got a feeling. Areola, Porro, Tsimikas, Archer. It's an okay bench boost. I don't like it. Personally, if you're asking my opinion, I think Spurs will concede. I still don't think Archer's a good option, despite him scoring last week. Tsimikas could be benched, and Areola's not a terrible option this week. It's okay. If you've got a feeling, go for it. But if it was my bench, no chance in hell would I bench boost that. Jay says, Tsimikas to Livramento or Lascelles? Start Tsimikas, Taylor, Maguire. Lascelles is short-term the more nailed asset, but Livramento has a much higher upside. So if you are willing to accept that you may see him get benched occasionally, I think Livramento's the better pick. But if you just want a nailed player until Botman's back, Lascelles will start every game until Botman's fit. We don't know how long that will be, so it's really what you're looking for. Tsimikas, Taylor, or Maguire? I'd start Maguire from those three, personally. Yeah, I would bench Tsimikas and Taylor there. I am getting ill far too often these days. Marcus in the chat. Good morning, Marcus. Claudette in the chat, of course. Nice to see the mods there. Right. So we like my transfer. No one's told me anything overly bad. A lot of people saying about Nketiah. It did put me off slightly that Nketiah is in training. And if Nketiah starts, that is, of course, a negative for both Saka and Martinelli. So I don't like that. But I still think, regardless of if Nketiah starts or not, this is a great fixture this week. And I don't mind next week's fixture either. Because I think the fact that it's at Brentford, at the Community Stadium, I think Brentford will go after Arsenal a little bit. I don't think they'll sit all the way back as they do away from home. So I think the next two fixtures are pretty decent for Saka and Martinelli, regardless of whether it's Nketiah, Jesus, Trossard, Havertz, whoever starts as the 9. But yeah, absolutely, I would rather Trossard starts as the 9. Frosty wants me to do Alvarez to DCL, but who do I bench then, Frost? There's no one to bench in my team. If I transfer out Alvarez, I have to bench a really decent player. So I'm not sure how I feel about that one. Hardcore Rally says, hi, Rappy. Hope you are enjoying your weekend. I hope you're enjoying your weekend too. I had one free transfer, burnt it on Burn to Lascelles as an early transfer. Okay, I like that. And I'm torn between a -4 and a -8. And 4 options come to mind. 1, Bruno. 2, Eze. 3, Martinelli. 4, Kudus. I'm sat at 5.2 mil overall. This week alone, Bruno is the best option of those 4. Like, whether you like Man United or not, it's Luton at home. Luton are the worst defence in the league away from home. So Bruno is the pick this week. But I think as like a nice 4-week punt, I quite like Eze. I think over the next 2, it's probably Martinelli. And then Kudus is just a cheeky punt that could go good, could go well, could go terribly. I think all 4 of those are great, mate. But yeah, if you're going for a really big week this week, I think Bruno's the one. Probably. What do we think will happen with Saka then, chat? Do we think Saka will play or not? So Saka was seen with the team. Do you know what? I can bring that up in a second. Let me just answer this. Morning, Ross. Start Tsimikas or Alvarez. I own in Burmo. Or sell Tsimikas and start the replacement. I would start Alvarez ahead of Tsimikas, absolutely. Absolutely. I think Saka plays today, but we'll see. Let me show you. Was it? I think Focal tweeted it, didn't he? There was a video of Saka arriving with the squad. Here it is. It'll come through in a second. So this is all of the squad arriving. So Saka is with the squad. Now, a lot of people made the, do you know what, correct comment that Saka previously arrived with the squad against, was it Man City, and then didn't play? Or what was the game that Saka didn't play? I think it was Man City. So Arteta has done this before where he takes Saka goes with the squad for whatever it is, morale purposes, and then doesn't feature. But I think that was more to mess with the opposition. Like, surely he doesn't need to play mind games with Burnley. And surely Saka would only travel if there's a chance that he plays. So I think Saka will start. I wouldn't feel comfortable transferring Saka in, though, sadly. And I probably wouldn't feel comfortable captaining him. I wouldn't sell him off the back of this, though. Because it didn't look like a serious injury. He's travelled with the squad. I think he could be fine. It does depend, though, on your bench. Like, if you've got no one off the bench that you like, then maybe you're in a position where you probably do need to think about selling him. For me, though, if we just go back to my team, I've got Alvarez first sub. So if Saka doesn't feature at all, I get Alvarez. And if he does, then I prefer Saka to Alvarez. Arteta is being very, very frustrating, though. Because he lies, he conceals the truth, he gives vague answers. Like, he's genuinely more harm than he is good. Like, I get more confused after his press conferences than I am before them. So, yeah, Arteta is very annoying. Chasing Penelope says, thoughts on Martinelli captain over Salah? I'm very tempted. I don't mind that at all. I'm not a massive fan of Salah captain this week. I just look at the way that Brentford defend in these games. I look at the positions that they can see chances from. I don't know that this is an overly Salah game. That isn't me saying Salah's a bad option, but I don't look at this and think it's a massively Salah game. That being said, I said exactly the same thing when Salah played against Everton and he got a brace. But he did get a lucky-ish goal and a penalty. But this is what Salah does, right? Salah's always on the pitch. He's on pens. He gets chances when other players maybe wouldn't do so. So I don't think he's a bad captaincy option, but I've just got a bit of I'm not sure, a weird feeling that it doesn't feel right to captain him. And you might say, well, then why are you captaining him? I don't like any of my other options. People are very keen on Ollie Watkins. I don't dislike that, but I don't know. The lack of penalties is slightly annoying for me. And I know he got a 23-pointer and then another double-digit haul, but he doesn't feel like the kind of player that will haul regularly. Right? His data's just not that strong. Martinelli, on the other hand, I do feel like is a player that could grab you 2 or 3 returns, and especially with this game. So that's why he's got my vice. But again, he's not on penalties. If Nketiah starts, I don't like him quite as much as an option. Son without Maddison, we just don't know. Darwin, I think if I expect Darwin to do well, Salah will probably do well too. So I just don't see any other captaincy options. I think even Haaland isn't a great option this week. I don't hate it, but Chelsea are a good defence. Right? I don't think Chelsea are a defence that you necessarily want to target. So it's not even like if I had Haaland, it would be an easy choice. I'd just go Haaland. Frosty says, honestly, can see the front three being Martinelli and Nketiah Trossard today. Potentially. Potentially, yeah. He's not really played Trossard on the right, though, has he? Would it not be Nelson out there? Victor says, thank you for all of the hard work you put in. Thank you very much, Victor. I appreciate that. So glad no Haaland worked out for you. That was very kind. Thank you. Question, bench Mbeumo or João Pedro? An obvious captain, Haaland versus Salah. Thank you. I still think Salah's a slightly better option than Haaland this week for captaincy, just because he's at home. Salah has returned in 14 home games in a row in the league. Maybe not in the league. I saw this stat. It might have just been in all competitions, but Salah has returned in 14 home games in a row at Anfield, and he's scored in 13 of those. I haven't fact-checked this, by the way, but there were quite a few interactions on the tweet. So, yeah, 14 games in a row at Anfield. So, and Haaland is much better at the Etihad as well. I think they're just both, most players are, but especially Salah and Haaland, they're just better at home. So, I would captain Salah. Bench Mbeumo or João Pedro. I'd bench João Pedro because he's predicted to get benched by most people, and then Mbeumo is just such a good option. So I would bench João Pedro and captain Salah. 2 free transfers, Saka to Martinelli. I'm not sure about that one. I guess it does eliminate the risk. Yeah, it does. I don't hate that. I also think just generally at the moment, Martinelli looks like a better player than Saka. I don't know if he's a better FPL asset because Martinelli has been playing quite wide and he's looked more creative than he is a goal threat. But he just has looked sharper, fitter, hungrier, just more likely to get you something than Saka. So I don't mind Saka to Martinelli with 2 free transfers. Toby says, wildcard, Alisson and Turner, Saliba, Cash, Trippier, Kabore, Baldock, Maddison, Hwang Hee-chan, Diaby, Rashford, Saka, Haaland, Watkins, Mabama. Would I wildcard that team? I don't think you need to wildcard that team, no. I would wildcard in game week 14, Toby. I think that's a nicer game week with fixture swings. I don't think you need to wildcard that team this week. Unless that was your wildcard, in which case it just looks like everyone else's team. I would probably try and go for a couple of different punts. Got Tsimikas and no starting replacements on the bench. Only 1 free transfer. Do I roll the transfer? And if I do, who do I get? Do I roll or transfer? I would just keep Tsimikas. I think Tsimikas will start. The reason that I've got Tsimikas benched is I don't know that he'll start. I don't know that once he starts, he gets 60. And I also don't think Liverpool keep a clean sheet. And a 4th reason, I have a really solid backup in Mark Gahey. So I don't feel the necessity to risk it with Tsimikas. But if you've got no other options, I would feel comfortable starting him. Because I think he does start. I can't afford Saka, who's a good replacement. What, for Maddison? I went Martinelli. But I think other than that, you've got Mbeumo, Eze, multiple options. Let me actually see if I can get that graphic up. 2 seconds. Was it this one? No. I'm trying to find the graphics from yesterday's video. It was... Here we go. This one. Perfect. All of the players on the screen are fine, and that's not even all of the options. There are so many more options as well outside of that. There are so many more options outside of that. But I think the way that I would view it is the tier 1 replacements are there, and then the tier 2 replacements are up 1. So I think Bowen, Saka, Eze, Matoma, and Burmo Martinelli all good. I also think shifting the money into defence and getting Trippier is a really nice way of using that Maddison money. And then outside of that, I still think Kudus, Trossard, if we think he'll start this week, Gordon, Bruno, Palmer. There are loads of good options. I probably wouldn't go Trossard now just because Nketiah has been in training, and I think there is a chance that Nketiah starts. Have you considered Doku? No, the fixtures just aren't great over the next 4, and I think Grealish will start this one, actually. I wouldn't be surprised to see Grealish start 2, Doku start 2. I know Doku looked great, but Pep does this, right? Players will have an absolute stormer. We saw this with Mahrez so many times. Mahrez would grab like 3 or 4 attacking returns, and then he'd be on the bench for 2 or 3 games after that. Pep doesn't care if you go out there and smash it. What he cares about is each individual opposition and who is the best player for that. And because Grealish is so much better for controlling the game, in games like Chelsea, I wouldn't be surprised to see him favour Grealish just because of the control that Grealish brings. Now, I don't know that. I haven't even looked at the Man City predictions this week. If Doku starts, wouldn't shock me. But I certainly don't think that Doku's a certain starter for the next 4 games. Tsimikas versus Wan-Bissaka versus Lascelles. What are your thoughts? This week, Wan-Bissaka. I think Wan-Bissaka will start, and I think Luton at home is about as good as it gets for a fixture, even if Man United aren't great. But longer term, I think Lascelles is a better pick than the other 2. Frosty with a big super chat. Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate you. Ferguson or Haaland? Ferguson feels lower risk as United are a bit stinky, but my gut is saying United Haaland might start playing football again. Oh, that's a tough one. I think I would maybe lean Haaland just because you know Haaland will start the next 2. And I know it's maybe only a 1-week punt, but if it's longer term, I don't know that Ferguson starts every week because Ferguson has been a bit crap recently. Sorry, I had to clear my throat then. Ferguson hasn't been great. His data's not been great. His performances haven't been great. He's only getting like 60, 65 minutes. So I think Haaland feels like he's a player that you could end up keeping. Ferguson feels like a player that's going to be like a 1-week kind of thing. Unless he smashes it, and then he could start getting more regular minutes. But this week I prefer Ferguson. Over the next 2 or 3, I prefer Haaland. I do also think that Haaland will sooner rather than later start to score some goals in the Prem. Because he's been doing it in Europe and he looks pretty good through the eye test. The data's just not supporting it at the moment. But United do suck. It's a reason. Like, I don't have any United players and there is a reason for that. Schnapp says, does Saka get 90? No. I would be shocked if Saka gets 90. I think Saka will get 70 if he starts. Saka to Trossard gets me Trippier. Saka to Trossard's fine for this week if you think Trossard starts. But number 1, we don't know Trossard will start this week. And number 2, longer term, that causes you issues. Because you're not going to want to keep Trossard. Because as soon as Saka's back, he's on the right. Martinelli's first choice on the left. And then you've got Nketiah and Jesus sort of competing with Trossard. So Saka to Trossard works maybe for this week. But I think you're just causing yourself issues long term. Martin says, Maddison to Matoma, Douglas Luiz to Trossard, 2 free transfers or wait. I'm not a massive fan of Trossard. I'll just say it there because, again, I don't even know if he'll start this week because if Saka's fit and Nketiah's fit, it could be Martinelli, Nketiah, Saka. And even if he is fine for this week, Trossard, next week, I think there's a very good chance that Trossard doesn't start. If Gabriel Jesus is back, he'll start. If Nketiah is back, it could well be that he starts. I just think it's a transfer that you're going to end up wanting to reverse soon. So I would just do the Maddison to Matoma move, basically, Martin. George says, for 2 weeks, Neto to Matoma or Adingra. Neto to Matoma or Adingra or Kudus. Okay, so Matoma, Adingra or Kudus. I'd go Matoma. I don't mind Kudus for what it's worth. I think he's a really nice pick, especially if you don't have Bowen. But I think Matoma's the better pick, probably. Hi, Ross. What's your team value currently? Almost 104 million, I think. It's like 103.8 or 103.9. My team value is pretty high. Oh, I've just realised I've still got that screen up. Sorry. There you go. There's my team. Bench Alvarez, Mbeumo, or Palmer. I'd bench Palmer there. I know Palmer's done very well recently, and I know he's on pens, but this isn't a great fixture for Palmer. Martinelli is going to look like such an inspired transfer, especially when Jesus is back after the break. Everyone's saying his stats are bad, but we expected this with Nketiah up front. Yeah, I hope so, Frosty. To be honest, a part of me, so I am... Okay. I am pretty sure that I will transfer out Martinelli in a couple of weeks, right? The plan was to only own him for these two fixtures. That being said, if in game week 13, Jesus looks like he's going to be back soon... Sorry, chat, I'm struggling with my throat. If in 13 looks like Martinelli's... Jesus is back soon, or if it looks like Trossard will be starting and Nketiah's second choice, or something like that, I could keep Martinelli, at least for these two. Wolves at home and Luton away. And then maybe even look to keep him through this spell here. The fixtures really aren't that terrible. And then what I would have to do, sadly, is sell one of Saka, Son, or Bowen to get Mbeumo, because I want Mbeumo in 14. Right? There is no chance in hell that I go into 14, 15, 16 without Mbeumo. Not only has he got outrageous stats, and I mean, like, they are outrageous. Not only is he on pens, not only is he getting 90 minutes in every single game, but in this spell here, he's got Luton, Brighton, Sheffield United, and in these three games are played in the space of a week, right? You can see Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. 3 of the best fixtures you can possibly get from an attacking perspective, all in the space of a week. Mbeumo will be one of the only players in the league from an attacking perspective with good data that starts and gets, I won't say definitely gets 90 in all 3, but gets very close to 90 in all 3. I just love Mbeumo. I want Mbeumo then. So, yeah, basically what I'm saying is I won't necessarily, it won't necessarily be Martinelli that comes out for Mbeumo. That will probably be my midfield. But it could be that I keep Martinelli, and if Bowen doesn't look great over the next 2, I'm happy to make that Bowen that goes to Mbeumo. Or, if Son doesn't look great in the absence of Maddison, I'm not adverse to selling Son, right? So there are lots of different options. Martinelli could end up staying in my team a little bit longer term, but we'll see. We'll see how he gets on today. We'll see how he gets on against Brentford as well. Have you considered Kulusevski? I prefer Brennan Johnson. If you're going to go for a Spurs attacker, I prefer Brennan Johnson to Kulusevski. With no Haaland, captain Saka or Salah? I would go Salah. I think Saka, if he was fit and Arsenal were firing, is the better captain this week. But Arsenal are still struggling a bit. Saka, we don't know if he's going to be fit or not. And my issue with captaining Saka is even if you told me Saka's definitely starting, I still wouldn't captain him because if he is injured, or at least he's carrying a knock, he could go off after 5 minutes. And I know that could happen to any player, but I don't like captaining a player that I know is going into a game with a fitness doubt. This is why over that spell where Son, lots of people were captaining Son, I didn't do it because he didn't look fit. And not only was I worried that he might not start or come off early, I was worried that he might pick up a knock mid-game, which would again make him not the best captaincy option. Mateus says, Burn, Maddison, Adingra to Lascelles, Martinelli, Eze. I don't think you need to sell Adingra. Can you not just do Burn and Maddison to Lascelles and Martinelli? I don't think the Adingra to Eze move for an extra -4 is necessary. Kashal says, Eze or Gordon? This week, Gordon. Next 4, Eze. And then beyond that, a little bit longer term, I think they're both good options. But I think over the next 4, I prefer Eze. But this week, I like Gordon a lot against Bournemouth. Marcus says, start Zuma or Simicast? Ooh, I'd go Zuma. And if Zuma doesn't start, then Simicast will come on anyway. I'd go Zuma, yeah. Should we run a captaincy poll, seeing as people are struggling so much? Could you please spam in the chat who your captain is for game week 12? I can only do 4 options. So, Salah will be one. And then I need to choose out of probably Haaland, Watkins, and Saka, who I go for as the other option. Oh, lots of people saying Gordon. got lots of Gordons. Gordon captain, interesting. I'm not sure about that. If it was at home, I'd be... Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Right, captaincy poll for game week 12. We've got Salah. We've got... Wow, there's a real split here. I don't even know who to put as the options. Wow, okay. I'll go Salah, Haaland, Watkins, and then other. Because they look to be the 3 most popular ones. But just if you are wondering who the others are, lots of people going Gordon, Bruno. A couple of Darwins in there. A couple of Eze's. Martinelli. Saka's obviously some people still tempted. If we get news he starts, maybe you go for it. Right, there you go. There's a captaincy poll in the chat now. Right, make sure you vote on that captaincy poll. By the way, if you are enjoying today's stream, please make sure you drop a like on the stream. I would really appreciate it. And make sure to subscribe as well. We just hit 105,000 subs, which is pretty cool. I guess the next one is 110,000. So, yeah, please make sure you subscribe to the channel too. If you subscribe, it will allow you to comment in the chat as well, which is fun. Surely Watkins Halls. I don't know about surely. I don't think... Fulham aren't a great defence, but they're not the worst. Let's actually have a look if they're really bad away from home. Should we take a bit of a deep dive into the data and try and work out if there is a better captain than Salah? Let's do that. We've got plenty of time until the deadline, so let's take a look at that. So, by the way, if you do want to get access to Hub, they are still offering... Not that Hub. You're so sus. You want to get access to Fantasy Football Hub... They are still currently offering 30% off if you use the link in the description. So feel free to do that. Yeah, it's an affiliate link. I get a little bit of a kickback from it, if you know what I mean. But no, it is genuinely a great site. You'll see it. I use it in every single one of my videos. So fantastic stuff. Right. If we go to teams and we go to expected goals conceded, what we're going to do is look at like away from home and at home how certain defenses are doing. Brackers says, hi, mate. Get well soon. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What's your plan with Alvarez? I'm just going to keep it for now. I think I don't actually plan on starting him in many games at all. But I think from 16, I want him. And I don't need to start him for the time being. And I think in most weeks, like this week when Saka's the doubt, having Alvarez is absolutely fine as a first sub. So I think for now, I'm going to keep Alvarez. Right, so... What's the first sort of... Let me take a quick look here. All right, we wanted to look at Ollie Watkins first. So how do Fulham defend away from home? Here we go. If you want some Watkins... What's the word I'm looking for? Propaganda. Fulham are the 5th worst defence in the league for expected goals conceded away from home. So I've sorted this by expected goals conceded, and then I've gone to away from home. Yeah, Fulham are the 5th worst defence. So Fulham are not good away from home. If you want some propaganda for Bruno captain, Luton are the worst defence in the league away from home. If you want some propaganda for Gordon captain or Trippier captain, Bournemouth are the 2nd worst defence in the league away from home. If you... I've just realised as I'm doing this. So Man United are playing against Luton. Newcastle playing against Bournemouth. Matoma and Brighton are playing against Sheffield United. Martinelli, Saka, etc. playing against Burnley. And then Watkins is playing against Fulham. Then you've got Bowen against Forest. I mean, all of the favoured captains here, apart from Haaland and Salah, are all playing against the worst defences. Oh, Bournemouth are at home. Oh, yeah, Bournemouth are at home. Ignore me. Ignore me then. No Gordon propaganda. We don't captain Gordon. But for Luton, Sheffield United, Burnley and Fulham. One sec, let me check Bournemouth at home. Okay, Bournemouth are slightly better at home, but they're not much better at home. But they are slightly better at home. But this would genuinely suggest that probably the best captains, when we're looking at fixtures, is Man United captain, a Brighton captaincy, or an Arsenal one, or maybe Villa, maybe Ollie Watkins. Where are Brentford on the list? Here. Away from home, Brentford are the 5th best defence in the league. Why are we captaining Salah? Also, Chelsea are the 4th best defence. So before you give me this, oh, I bet you wish you had Haaland. Chelsea are also good, all right? Cut out the nonsense. So yeah, basically, this suggests to me, Haaland and Salah aren't the captains if you're going off fixtures. Look at all of these teams up here. This is what we want. So basically, I don't mind an Ollie Watkins captain. I don't mind a Gordon captain. I don't mind a Matoma or a Martinelli captain this week. It could pay off. It's just Salah's so consistent, isn't he? He really is. Hopefully that was helpful for you. So not only bring in Haaland, but captain him. Absolutely. The take-home message is captain Wan-Bissaka. Okay? Good. Got Maddison. Should I get Bruno Fernandes or Saka? This week, Bruno, because I don't know about Saka, but longer term, Saka's definitely the one to own. Let's see if we get any early team news around Arsenal and Saka. I have 2 free transfers. Keep Diaby or replace with Matoma or Bowen. I would keep Diaby and use the transfer elsewhere. I think you've got to give Diaby this final fixture. It's a good fixture. Diaby's playing well. I don't think this is the week to transfer out Diaby. Start Alvarez, Tsimikas, or João Pedro? Alvarez, definitely, Jack. Yeah, I'd start Alvarez. Douglas Luiz for Bowen for a -4. Are you saying transfer Douglas Luiz to Bowen? Again, it's not a bad fixture for Douglas Luiz. I don't know that I would do that for a -4. I don't actually think this is a perfect fixture for Bowen. He's better away from home. If Saka doesn't start, Bruno for Saka for a -4 just for this one game. We can then get back to Saka or play Palmer for Saka. Luton might get lots of attacking returns. I would just play Palmer. I don't think you want to sell Saka because I think you want to go straight back to Saka. Unless he's out long term, which I don't think is the case based on what we've seen. I wouldn't take out Saka this week. You can get away with benching him if you want to, but I just think you're going to want him back. But, do you know what? Counter argument, Saka's not been great recently. He's been a bit stinky. Like, if you look at his data, there was a stat that he's not taken a shot since, like, game week 8. No, game week 7. I mean, to be fair, he didn't play against City, and then it was Chelsea and Newcastle away in there. Obviously, Sheffield United at home wasn't ideal. But yeah, apparently he's not taken a shot since game week 7. So, do you know what? Maybe Saka's just not the best owner at the moment. I mean, this data is terrible. In 3 games, he's got 0.33, 0.49 in 3 games. Non-penalty expected goal involvement. It's terrible. But it's Bukayo Saka, you know? And he is much better at home. So if he plays this game, I think he will do well. Stuck right now. Can go Saka to Eze and Tsimikas to Trippier. Oof. Or Tsimikas to Livramento and Pedro to Edouard. Maybe Saka to Martinelli and Edouard. I like Saka to Eze and Tsimikas to Trippier a lot. If you don't think Saka plays, I like that one a lot. Getting Eze and Trippier in, they're 2 excellent players to have. I really kind of regret not getting Eze. I knew I would. For me, it was between Martinelli and Eze. I just have this weird gut feeling about Martinelli this week that I just wanted to follow. Because so far this season, every time I've had a gut feeling, you guys will know this as well if you watch the content, if you read my tweets, my gut feeling just seems to be spot on constantly this year. And I would have kicked myself if I didn't follow it on this occasion. But my head was telling me, and even my heart was telling me, get Eze, because I love Eze as a player and as an option. But I just think this week Martinelli could go nuclear. I'm hoping and praying. Bench 2 of them, Burmo, Lascelles, Gahey, Maguire. I would start in Burmo and Maguire. That's not biased Man United. We are terrible Man United, but it is the best fixture you can hope for in the league. Like, if you're not going to play Maguire here, there's no point in you even owning him at this stage. You might as well just go down to like a Bulldog. Alvarez to Sofal to start on the data. Oh, I would definitely start Alvarez. If you've got a choice between like a middling defender, like, I don't know, like Lascelles or Gahey or Tsimikas or someone like an Alvarez, like an attacker. It doesn't matter about the fixture. Even a Palmer. I would always start the attacker over the defender. Hello, you beautiful egg. How are you and the missus? We are good. She's typing away over there doing some work. Very, very well done this morning. Gonna follow you and go for Eze. Honestly, Eze's a great transfer. Anyone that gets Eze, I'm very jealous of. I think he'll do very well over the next 4. I don't think the fixture this week is perfect because I think Everton are actually okay defensively. But I think over the next 4, I would expect a couple of returns minimum for Eze. Matoma or Edward? Matoma. Maddison replacements. We've gone through Maddison replacements. If you watch yesterday's video, I did a 10-minute section on Maddison replacements. So click off the stream, go watch the video, and then come back to the stream. It was the first section of yesterday's video. So if you want an in-detail discussion, do that. I sold Maddison for Martinelli. So if you want my opinion, go watch that. If you want what I've done that. I would have probably moved for Bowen. If I didn't own Bowen, I probably would have done Maddison to Bowen. Would you contemplate a bench boost if you transferred out Turner this week for another keeper? No, because I've also got Taylor, and I've also got Saka that's an injury doubt, and I've also got Tsimikas. It's not a bench boost week for me. I think there are too many doubts around some of the players that we own. And again, like I said, I've got Taylor. If I'd let's say I had Lascelles rather than Taylor, maybe. Yeah, maybe, because I could do like Turner to, I don't know, Johnston or someone like that. Maybe, if I had Lascelles instead of Taylor. But no, and just because if Saka misses out, all of a sudden it's a terrible bench boost. So unless we get confirmation on Saka, and you have a better defender than me, and you've still got another free transfer to use, I think most of the teams I would look at and say now's not the time to bench boost. Start 3 of Maguire, Gabriel, Cash, Lascelles. Would you start any of them if no news on Saka? No, I would start Saka ahead of all of them unless we get news he's out. I would start from those options there. Probably Gabriel and Cash, and bench Maguire and Lascelles. Yeah, I think you've got to start Gabriel. Best chance for a clean sheet and some attacking threat. Cash is the most attacking of the 4, so I would probably start him. I don't like the idea of benching Maguire and Lascelles, but maybe that is a bench boost. If you've got Maguire and Lascelles on the bench, maybe you are looking at a potential bench boost. Got a benching headache. Cash, Walker, or Fabian Schär? If you need to bench one of them, you would bench Walker. If you need to start one of them, I would start maybe Fabian Schär. A bit of attacking threat and a good chance for a clean sheet. Sean says, Haaland triple captain, let's have fun. I mean, there's fun and then there's that, but I mean, go for it if you like it. Haaland, I do expect to get chances in this game, but Man United aren't going to, based on what we've seen recently, Manchester United aren't going to put 4 or 5 goals past Luton. And I think that's the kind of result that you need for a triple captain. Matoma / Gordon to Maddison. I assume you mean in for Maddison. I like Matoma and Gordon. And Schär or Trippier. Definitely Kieran Trippier if you can afford it. And then I would probably prefer Matoma to Gordon myself. Hi Raptor, on Wildcard 12, thoughts of going with Trent if I can bench in 13 and if it works in my overall team. Also, Darwin or Alvarez next 4 before Haaland's back. I'm not a massive fan on Trent. I just don't think Liverpool are going to keep enough clean sheets. And I think on top of that, he's still not shown the attacking threat that we've seen in recent years. So I just think he's overpriced, personally. But if you want him, go for it. Darwin or Alvarez the next 4 before Haaland back. Darwin. Again, if you can get away with benching him in 13. Although, if he starts, I mean, it's post-international break, so I don't think he will start. But I also don't think Alvarez will start. I've got a feeling both Alvarez and Darwin could miss out in Game Week 13. Which might mean that I'm forced to make a transfer on one of them. But we'll see. Because the teams are playing in South America once again. And they're going to be playing on like the Wednesday. So it will be touch and go as to whether Darwin and Alvarez actually start. I think. Especially Alvarez. He's got some very tricky fixtures. I think they play against Uruguay and Brazil. So, yeah, not ideal. Captain Trippier, Watkins, or Nketiah? From those options, I prefer Watkins. Father says, disgusting 20 points last game week. Ouch. Now my team is... Okay, the team, what do you think, mate? Yeah, looks perfect. I'm jealous of your Arsenal defender. Diaby could do well this week. Team looks perfect, mate. Yeah, team looks really good. No issues with that team at all. Can you look at the team? Can you look at the captain's non-penalty expected goal involvement home and away for this week? Yes, absolutely. We can do that in a second for sure. Captain Bruno Fernandes or Salah? Salah. Salah for me. Would you do Saka to Bruno for a 2-week punt? I have 2 free transfers and I have no other transfers to make, or Alvarez to Darwin. Would you do Saka to Bruno for a 2-week punt? I have 2 free transfers and I have no other transfers to make. I don't hate it, but I think you're going to want him straight back in. Alvarez to Darwin, I prefer that slightly. Yeah, I prefer Alvarez to Darwin slightly. But again, Darwin in the future could cause you issues, and we don't know if he'll start. Saka to Bruno could work out. I'll say that. I don't hate that as an option. God, sorry, I've just realised I missed a few super chats. I'm just going to go make sure that I haven't missed any more. Who would you bench? Saka, Diaby, or Ferguson? I would probably bench Saka, just because he's the only one that we don't know if he'll start or not. But, I mean, all three of those are fine to start and or bench. Justify Diaby captaincy. I won't be doing that. I think there are much better options. Emma says, benching headache. Oh, I think I did that one. Cash Walker share. Yep, did that one. Okay, -4 Botman to an Arsenal defender or start Tsimikas. I would just start Tsimikas. I think Tsimikas is fine for this week. It's less so that I'm concerned about him starting and more so about how many minutes he'll get and whether he'll keep a clean sheet or not. But he carries some attacking threat. Liverpool aren't bad. He could do well. He definitely could. I don't think it's worth a -4 to make sure you don't have to play Tsimikas. Need a new goalkeeper for the long term. I already have Areola and can afford every goalkeeper. Johnston? Yeah, probably Johnston. I mean, Pope is probably the most sensible one because he'll just keep so many clean sheets. But I guess with the issues in their defence, maybe not now. Yeah, I'd probably go Johnston. Yes, Ross, how do you feel about Captain Ferguson? I'm not sure I'm a massive fan of it just because he doesn't ever get anywhere close to 90 minutes. And on top of that, his data's been pretty poor recently. So I think you can definitely do better than Ferguson. But the fixture is there. Arguably the best fixture in the league, right? I have Tsimikas and Kabore sub -4 for Tsimikas to Saliba. No, again, I mean, I've answered that a couple of times around the Tsimikas stuff. Obviously, Saliba is a much better option than Tsimikas this week and in future weeks because Arsenal are a better defence. Saliba is nailed. The fixture's better, but I don't know if he's worth the -4. Because if Tsimikas, let's say Tsimikas plays and gets you 2 points. Let's say actually he comes off the bench and gets you 1 point. Even if Saliba gets you a 6-pointer, if it's for a -4, you've gained 1 point by making that. So for Saliba to be worth it over Tsimikas for a -4, you need Tsimikas to blank, Saliba to get a clean sheet, and then bonus points for it to even make it worth the transfer. And even if he gets a clean sheet and bonus points, you're still only gaining like 2 or 3 points through that transfer. This is why generally I don't take hits. Unless you're viewing it over a longer period of time. But yeah, in a single week, it's very difficult for a defender to pay back a -4 transfer. Hello, Ross. Can you please share your plan to get Haaland back by game week 18? Game week 16. Yeah, I can do that as well. I'm also going to look at the captaincies in a second as well. Hi, Ross. Watkins for the armband. I think Watkins is one of the better captaincy options this week, but he's not my favourite option. But yeah, I wouldn't put you off Watkins at all. He could definitely do very well. So my plan to get Haaland back is next week. I'm probably planning something like, if he doesn't go up in price, because I've only got the exact funds, but it's probably Saliba in for cash. So that would be game week 13. Game week 14, I've got 2 free transfers. So the plan at the moment is to bring in Burmo and probably roll a transfer. But it may be that I feel like I need to touch Darwin or Alvarez or sort them out. Going into game week 15, I mean, I don't know at this stage. Saka might be an issue. Son might be an issue. But I would make just a single transfer of some kind. And then in 16, I will make sure that I've got 2 free transfers for 16. I could even bring Haaland back in for 15, in all honesty, because he's got Aston Villa away. It's not a horrible fixture. But it will be something along the lines of one of Watkins or Darwin needs to leave. So I will need to make that decision. If Darwin's still looking good and nailed, I'll keep him. However, Watkins, with the amount of minutes he gets, I've just got a feeling it might be Darwin that has to make way for me. But let's say that Darwin's doing well. It would be Watkins that makes way, because I'm not going to sell Alvarez, because Alvarez has the same nice fixtures that Haaland has, right? I don't want to sell Alvarez for this spell here. So it would be Haaland coming in. I then have two options. I can either sell Darwin as well and move back to a 3-5-2. Right, so it would be Alvarez out for... Sorry, Darwin out for Archer. And then all I then need to do is just make one other transfer. So at this stage, it's Saka down or Son down. Honestly, there's a chance it's Son or there's a chance it's Saka. I need to decide at that point. But it would be just for anyone at that point, right? Or I keep Darwin and just go to a 3-4-3, like that. And it would just be Son to anyone. Or I take a -8, which I'm less keen on, and try and hold on to Saka and Son. I could even go for a 4-5-1 as well, chat. Basically, there are loads of options. It's going to be a -4 minimum. The other option that I have is over the next few weeks, I start trying to get there naturally. So I need to go back to the chat. I'm not looking at the chat and things could be happening over here. Yeah, the other option is that I start getting there naturally, right? So in Game Week 16, I'm going to want to bring him in. Maybe rather than doing cash to Saliba, I do cash to Lascelles. Then when I want to bring in Mbeumo in 14, I do that. But maybe one of my other transfers is, I don't know, to downgrade. There's another position I could present. Maybe it is that I think, do you know what, Alvarez in 14, I'm not going to want Alvarez longer term. Maybe, you know what, I start like preparing for it so that by the time Game Week 15 or 16 comes around, I've already got like 4.9 million in the bank, and then moving to Haaland is a matter of 2 transfers, which I can do for free. So I basically need to think about, to put all that together, do I just suck it up, play the way that I want to play, and then when it comes to getting Haaland back in, I take a -4 or -8 to just get him back into the team? Or over the next few weeks, do I plan my transfers in such a way that I can bring Haaland back in with 2 transfers? So these are the things that I need to think about basically over the coming weeks. If you are enjoying today's stream, by the way, please do make sure to smash a like. We've got almost 4,000 people watching and only 400 likes, which means that over 3,000 of you haven't liked the stream. So please do consider liking it and make sure to subscribe. Once you like, click that subscribe button next to it. If you had Haaland, would you captain him? No, I would not. Chelsea are a great defence. Haaland's not as good away from home. I don't think this is the week to captain Haaland for me. With Burn and Udogie out, I'm left with Cash, Maguire, Taylor, Burn and Son to Trippier and Matoma for a -4. Do you know what? I don't mind that. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I think getting Trippier in is nice. Matoma could do well over the next few. We've got doubts around Son. I think it's a little bit early to sell Son. I think he could still do really well. They're going to have Lo Celso probably in the 10 role. They've still got Brennan Johnson and Kulusevski. I actually think that Kulusevski, Johnson, and Lo Celso is a team that is built around creating chances for Son. We also know that with Richarlison and Maddison out, Son is going to be on pens. So there's now no doubt around who's on penalties for Spurs. So I think a penalty taking Son with a team built around feeding him could still be a really good option. We don't know that. I'm just hypothesizing. But I don't think that Maddison out suddenly makes Son a terrible option, is my only concern there. Rashid says, thank you for making FPL entertaining again. I appreciate you. Thoughts, took a -4, sold Burn and Maddison for Trippier and Eze. Thank you and good luck, brother. Genuinely like the perfect set of transfers. Getting Trippier and Eze for an injured Burn and Maddison. Beautiful. I love it. Who is your favourite FPL content creator that is not you? Oh, it's a great question. If you watch Seb over on Fantasy Football Scout, I think Seb and Praz are probably the best individual presenters, right? But they don't have their own channels. I know Praz is over with the FPLY now and he goes on Scout, but Praz and Seb are the best 2 FPL presenters for me of information. My favourite channel is that I regularly watch is probably the FPL Wire. The FPL Wire is the only one that I watch every single week without fail. There are others that I dip into. Like I still watch Let's Talk FPL, FPL Focal, FPL Harry. They're all great, but the ones that I regularly watch is the FPL Wire. They're just great. 3 excellent managers. They know what they're talking about. Love them. Remember they called you crazy for no Haaland? Everyone called me crazy for no Haaland, yeah. You just got to back yourself sometimes. Is Nketiah starting because Adam has spammed it 9 billion times? I don't know. Hopefully that answers your question. we have no idea. We've got no early team news at the moment. Simicast will play. I think Simicast will start, but again, no team news on that. That's just a prediction. I think Simicast will start, yeah. Is Trossard starting? Honestly, I've got no idea who starts for Arsenal. The only one that I would feel, which I hope is the case, confident, is Martinelli on the left. It could be Martinelli, Nketiah, Saka. It could be Martinelli, Nketiah, Trossard. It could be Martinelli, Trossard, Saka. It could even be Nelson in there on the right. Like, I've got genuinely no idea who starts for Arsenal. But if we do get team news in the next hour, I'll of course let you know. Would you start Lascelles over Simicast? Yes. Simicast as a fourth defender or Archer as a third striker? Oh, that's a good one. I would actually go Archer there. Yeah, I'd go Archer. Yeah, sorry, captaincy data. I know I said I'd do that. Let me look at that now. Players at home per 90. Do you know what? I should just get the major captains up. Oh, I need to refresh it. So what you can do on the Opta stats section is you can select the players that you want. So Haaland, Salah, Watkins, Martinelli. Who are the other ones? People looking at Gordon, Fernandez. Who else was there as an option? I mean, we can put Saka in there if you're interested. Maybe look at Heung-min Son. Is that it? Anyone else that I've missed? Stick Trippier in there. Yeah, I could stick Trippier in there if you want to. That's going to be... Oh, Bowen. Oh, God, there's so many bloody captaincy options this week, aren't there? Bowen. Right, that's it. No more. Oh, Matoma. Oh, God. Right, that's it. That is now it. We are adding no more. So what you can then do is I've built a custom stats table. So you can select the custom stats that you want. This isn't an ad for Fantasy Football Hub, by the way, but it is such a good site. There is a link in the description. But you can genuinely select all you want. But I've tried to keep it fairly straightforward. And then you can click on show any selected players. And then you can sort it by non-penalty expected goals per 90. So non-penalty expected goals per 90, obviously, I mean, Haaland is in a league of his own. But what we want to sort it by is away from home, firstly. So Haaland is away from home. Haaland's data is better away from home. That may be skewed from a couple of games. Who's he played away? One sec, let's take a look. Oh, it was the West Ham game, wasn't it? That was the West Ham game. Oh, and Man United. Okay. Yeah, that's why. To be fair, he's been great away from home. Do you know what? I'm going to shut up. I'm trying to build a narrative here. Last season, Haaland wasn't great away from home, especially against the top sides. But, I mean, he put up 2.51 against United, 2.59 against West Ham, 1.94 against Sheffield United. But as an alternative, as me saying what I think is the case, against decent-ish teams, he doesn't put up great XA away from home. Right, against Arsenal and Wolves, not great. I mean, Burnley wasn't great either. Haaland's great as an option, but tends to be last season slightly better at home. But this season, very interesting, Haaland's pretty good away from home. So maybe Haaland is a decent captaincy shout if you're looking at the data. Away from home, who else is playing away from home? It was Gordon. Gordon's data away from home isn't great. He's much better at home. So I'm not a massive fan of Gordon captaincy. I don't mind having him, but I'm not a massive fan of captaincy. If we look at home, wow. God, Ollie Watkins' data at home is so good. 0.62 non-penalty expected goal, 0.19. So Watkins' XG at home is better than Haaland's. Fulham are the fifth worst defence away. I think if you're putting everything together, security of starts, home data for the player, away data for the opposition, Watkins is probably the best captaincy option. Salah's data is also obviously pretty good at home. We know it's better at home than it is away. Gordon's data is much better at home, but sadly he's away this game here. Oh, Sonny's also away, isn't he? Let me look at Son's data away from home. Son's data is better away from home. So Sonny could be a captaincy shout, but we just don't know how they're going to be without Maddison. So Saka's data is much better at home. Martinelli's data just stinks this season, but we're hoping it will improve. I think putting that together, Watkins is probably the best captain. Should we captain Watkins? What do you say? Tempting. It is tempting, isn't it? Chat, should we captain Watkins? I kind of feel like captaining Watkins. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I left. Where was Trippier? Oh, it was because there was more than 10, wasn't it? Oh, Trippier was left off. Sorry. Trippier away from home. 0.37 expected assists. At home, 0.34. So Trippier is slightly better away from home than he is at home for attacking output. But remember that Newcastle are better defensively than they are. Are they? Are Newcastle better defensively at home still this season? Sorry, chat. Just doing a deep dive into the data. This is what I do before all of my videos to make sure that I am researched. You are getting an insight into Raptors' mind. Expected goals conceded at home. Newcastle were 4th best in the league. Away from home, they're 3rd best in the league. Do you know what? Trippier captain could be okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Not going to put you off that. I think Watkins is the best captaincy option. I think that's what the research has just told me. Russ, I think it's time for the will. Do you know what, chat? I think you're correct. Let's get the will out. Let's get the will out. How's my camera not died, by the way? It's been going for an hour. No freezing. New camera? No, it's not a new camera. Haaland. This is going to be the biggest captaincy will spin we have ever seen. Give me all of your captaincy options. We're going to get them all on. Salah. Saka. Martinelli. Son. Gordon. Trippier. God, this wheel is going to be humongous. Who else? Bowen. Matoma. Fernandez. Wow, there are so many captaincy options this week. I haven't even put Watkins on here. What an idiot. Watkins. Who else? Maguire. No one's captain Maguire. Darwin. Absolutely. Yes. Good shout. Right, I just need to make sure I get these super chats quickly answered whilst you let me know if I've missed anyone. Start 3 of Tsimikas, Gahey, Cash and Lascelles. I'd bench Tsimikas and start the other 3. Bench one of the following: Doku, Eze, Salah, Gordon, Watkins, Haaland and Nketiah Saka. I would bench Doku. Apologies. Also, gut instinct captaincy shout from these players. Watkins or Salah, probably. Hope you're doing well, mate. Would you sell Tsimikas or Gahey for Saliba? Tsimikas or Gahey for Saliba? The one I don't sell will be on the bench. I would bench Tsimikas. I wouldn't sell Gahey. Morning, you beautiful bald man. Good morning. Love your FPL grind. I hope to be like that in real life. Yep, you got a grind. Life is a bit of a grind, but it's worth it. Which 2 to start between Mbeumo, Palmer, Tsimikas and Alvarez? I would start in Mbeumo and Alvarez and bench Tsimikas and Palmer. Can you reconsider the Diaby then? Check non-penalty expected goals, please. I just don't like Diaby as a captain, but we can look at him in a second, maybe. 7.7 million midfielder. Who are you picking? Thinking Bowen. Yeah, probably Bowen. Probably Bowen. Got a 3-4-3 with Wilson, Watkins, Alvarez, Saka on the bench. Should I replace Saka with Wilson or use one free transfer Wilson to Darwin? I like Wilson to Darwin, although some people are predicting Wilson to start. If Wilson starts, I love him, but I like the idea of getting Darwin in. I think Darwin will start this week. Bench 1, Porro, Saka, Gahey. I would bench probably Pedro Porro. Trippier for a -4, is it worth it? Then bench Tsimikas. Yeah, I like the idea of getting trips in, even for a -4. BD has just become a Rap Tier 2 member. Thank you very much, BD. I appreciate you. Simicast to Lascelles on a free transfer. Yes, I like that a lot. Right, we ready? Oh my god, that wheel's going to break my computer. There's so many options on it. Of course. It's best of 3, by the way. So Saka with 1, even though he's the only player on there that's flagged. So Saka with 1. Yeah, so first player to 2, basically. We could be sat here for a while. I do apologise, because there are so many... Wow, that is lagging my computer out. Now, I am here for the Darwin prop. Any Darwin propaganda, I'm here for it. Don't pull faces. My girlfriend just went... She doesn't like Darwin. Wow, that is a very satisfying noise, in all honesty. Gordon. I would love to captain Darwin. Is Haaland in the spin? Yeah, Haaland's in the spin. So Saka, Gordon, and Darwin have been the 3 thus far. Okay. The wheel was just heating up a little bit. The wheel was just heating up a little bit, wasn't it? We're back to Salah now. I'm kind of hoping we don't have to spin too many times here. We just need it to land on one player twice, and then we're done. Oh dear, that is actually really lagging out. Fernandez. Do you have Haaland in the spin? Yeah, Haaland's in there. Don't worry. Don't worry. Look, he's to the right now of the spin. He's at 3 o'clock. I forgot how a clock works then. 12, 1, 2, 3. Haaland's at 3 o'clock. He is in the... I don't think I would rig the wheel by not putting Erling Haaland in there. I'm just letting my computer relax for a second because it genuinely just froze the entire thing then. There are too many options on this wheel. Sounds like a creaky door. Son. Okay. Right, we are getting... I think I've put too many options. Okay. Does sound like a really creaky door. Sounds like a bit like a fart because it's going so quick. Oh. Right, my girlfriend's not going to like that one. The wheel is saying that out of all of the options on the wheel, that Gordon is the best captain. Now, a certain someone might have sold Gordon last week. Shall I go again? Because a lot of people don't have Gordon. Yeah, I'll spin it again. But for anyone that has Gordon, Gordon's the best captain. But because loads of people don't own him, I'll carry on spinning. But yeah, Gordon is the best captain. Are you doubting the will? Chat, my girlfriend's doubting the will. You don't doubt the will. Bowen just got a spin as well. God, this is a bit of a split, isn't it? I'm all here for it. God, my computer is dying. I don't know if it's lagging out the stream. Hopefully it's not. It landed on Gordon again. There are like 14 options on this wheel. Get a new girlfriend, dump her. Sorry. Okay, 3 times now. Remove Gordon. Okay. Okay. Gordon's been removed. Okay, Gordon's been removed. There you go. Get Gordon off the wheel. Everyone hates Gordon now. Yeah, we hate Gordon. Bloody hell. Still no one on 2, apart from Gordon. It's almost as if the wheel is not thinking through its decisions. I'm not... Shall I have a chat with the... Right, listen. We're Hill. Disc of Destiny. Give me Darwin. Give me Darwin captain. I asked politely. All I want is someone to just give me a nudge and just say, Captain Darwin, Ross. I don't own any of these players. Matoma. Right, Matoma is... So Gordon is the best captain. Right, the wheel is on 1. Gordon's the best captain. Matoma's the second best captain. I will now remove Matoma. I'm going to keep spinning until I get a player that I actually own. Would be nice. Rather than Gordon and Matoma. Oh dear, Saka. Right, this is... Do you know what? The wheel's a mess today. We're going to get off here. The wheel doesn't know what it's doing. So apparently, just to recap that, according to the wheel, in order, you should captain Gordon, Matoma, and then Saka. Is Saka fit? We don't even know. The Will doesn't care. Maybe the Will knows something that we don't. You look like you're packing, mate. Based on what? What are you looking at? But you're not wrong. The Will is on the good stuff. I think the Will is, yeah. Maybe a bit sleep deprived, making silly decisions. Do the Will for Salah versus Watkins, please. Nah, we're going to stop the Will for a second. During that Will spinning situation, I lost 700 viewers. People clearly didn't like the Will being spun, you know? Based on my charisma. I look like I'm packing. I like that. DDE. He's definitely packing. He got evicted yesterday. That's actually funny because yesterday I did get a note from my landlord saying I might be evicted if I don't renew my tenancy for next year, which is fun. So, there you go, Frosty. I found the Will offensive. I find your mum offensive. Benchmark. Sorry, just immediately go to the mum jokes. Missed my super chat. Oh, sorry, yeah, I wasn't looking at those super chats. Eggman, how are your eggs today? Hashtag eggs. My eggs are great. How are your eggs? I'd quite like this. I'd like egg and avocado on toast right now. You want porridge? Go make porridge then. There's no fruit, but you can go make porridge. You can make fruitless porridge. There's milk and there's porridge. Best Twitter account for Newcastle news. There are none that I know of really, just the accounts that always like tweet early team news. Need to transfer out Burn. Was thinking of Livramento for a differential or go for a safe bet in Saliba. I think if you can afford Saliba, I would go there. But if you feel like you might need the money in the future, I do like Livramento. Rami says 0.6 in the bank, 1 free transfer. Lascelles, Taylor, Lamptey, Cash, Simicast. Simicast to Gahey or downgrade Cash to Gabriel and do Lamptey to Gahey for a -4 or roll the transfer. I would roll the transfer. I think Lascelles, Cash and Simicast are fine for this week and then reassess next week, Rami. But if you're going to make one of the moves, I would prefer Simicast to Gahey. Start Anderson or Simicast. I would start Anderson. Matoma, captain, round table. What's the round table part mean? Matoma, captain. I don't mind Matoma, captain. I just think Brighton aren't quite there at the moment in the league. I should have turned the stream off. I went into today planning to do Haaland or Ferguson, but you and your sensible stats is making me want to finally get Watkins. I think Watkins has been unlucky in recent weeks not to get more. I think Watkins is still a fantastic option. So yeah, I feel like if you don't own Watkins, it's not too late. But just know that you're not gaining much by bringing in Watkins. Like everyone owns Watkins, or most people do. So it will protect you from getting battered, but you're not gaining anything from it. So if you want to take the risk on going without him, you can. Are Brighton knackered or what? Yeah, I think they're tired. I think they've played a lot of games. I think they don't have the greatest depth at the moment due to injuries. So I think for all of those reasons, they're just struggling a bit. You got about just under an hour until the deadline, by the way. So make sure you have a think about what you might be doing with your moves. Frosty says you will gain if you captain him. I am. Do you know what? I'm at the very least going to move my vice to Watkins. I'm tempted. The data is all pointing towards Watkins doing well. I just want to see how consistent Watkins' data has been at home. Right, so at home, 0.2 against Everton in a 4-0 win. But he didn't start the season very well, did he? Then 0.65, then 0.98, then 0.64, then 1.4. The good thing with Watkins, though, is it's all goal threat. Like, his expected assists are right down, but his non-penalty expected goals are pretty decent. Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it? I just think Salah's such a monster, especially at home. Salah's data at home, 0.71, 1.44, a couple of penalties in there, 1.28, 0.87, 1.34. He's just a monster, and he's on pens. I just think Salah's always the captain. But I've put the Vice on Ollie. I do like Ollie Watkins. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see him get a couple of returns. Heung-min Son for the win. Heung-min for the win. Heung-min for the win. I like Heung-min for the win. I do like Heung-min Son. I just think if Maddison was available, I'd be more tempted. I just don't know how it's going to affect him. Is Trippier captain crazy? No, we spoke about this about 15 minutes ago. Trippier could be a decent shout. Slightly better data away from home. Newcastle are still in the top 5 defences in the league away from home. Bournemouth are struggling at the moment. It's not a terrible captaincy. I just think with the fact that Trippier will be at left back, we think he'll be at left back. Is his attacking threat as high at left back? Is his bonus potential as high? Like, if he's not creating as many chances because he's at left back, will his bonus points drop off a little bit? So I just think there are a few too many unknowns for me to be willing to captain Trippier at the moment. Daniel says, bench one of Gahey, Gabriel, Cash, or Ferguson. I think that's comfortably Gahey for me. I'd start Gabriel and Cash. Bruno or Martinelli, mate? This week alone, it is Bruno. Next 4, I prefer Martinelli. Bruno's on 4 yellow cards. Bruno loves a yellow card. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bruno get booked in the next couple and then you miss him for a game. So, yeah. Is Flecken expected to play? I don't actually know. If anyone in the chat has seen anything, let us know. By the way, on the captaincy poll in the chat, 58% of you are captaining Salah, 18% Haaland, 13% Watkins, and 11% other. So basically, Salah is the biggest captaincy, and then there's going to be a relatively equal split between Haaland, Watkins, and then other differential captains. So it's quite a big split. To have the most captained option at only 58% is a week where captaincy will be very important. So if you want to take a punt, this is a week to do it. I find it difficult to back against the very popular captain in some weeks. I have done it, though. You've seen it recently backing against Haaland with Salah. But I think most weeks where there's a very clear captaincy favourite, I would rather just captain them and look to make up my rank elsewhere. But in a week like this, I'm just convincing myself to captain someone else. There is the option to go elsewhere, I think. Yeah, but your viewer base is biased and will show a lot higher for Salah than other sources. I don't think so, Frosty. Most polls on Twitter seem to be high on Salah as well. But yeah, I do kind of know what you mean. There's probably more people with like no Haaland watching as an example. What do you think of Eze? Love him. Love him. Wish I'd gone for him in all honesty, but I just have a feeling about Martinelli that I had to just follow. Sometimes you get a gut feeling and you've just got to just follow it for a little bit just to see if you were correct or not. Sophie has become a Rap Tier 2 member. Thank you very much, Sophie. I appreciate you. Son captain. Yeah, fine. No issues with it. Honestly, anyone is fine for captaincy this week. I have no issue with captaining anyone. Everyone that you've asked me about, yes. Because they've all got decent fixtures. I don't think there's a standout option. Go for it. Okay. I don't like either of those. Someone's just said Saliba and Haaland captain. No. Not a massive fan of those. Are you definitely captaining Salah?
I don't know.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I don't know either. I don't know about captaincy either, chat. Sorry, my girlfriend sent me her team and she's got, I think she's rolling, but she's got Salah cap, so I was just wondering. She's a Villa fan. She should probably captain Watkins. Hey, Ross. Arsenal attack feels meh. Saka might be injured. Martinelli maybe. Nketiah might be too short term. Thinking Bowen, Bruno for Maddison comments. Yeah, I think if you don't have Bowen, Polkit. Oh, my camera's gone. If you don't have Bowen, I would probably choose him as the replacement for Maddison. Oh, big stretch. Camera finally gone. I know it lasted an hour and 20 minutes, which is about how long I lasted. Hey. Hi Ross, loving the streams. I need to bench one of Alvarez, Trent, and Cash. What do you reckon? Alvarez, Trent, and Cash. We can't bench. I think you've probably got to bench Cash there. Yeah. Yeah. I'd bench Cash. Hi, you read that one? Isaac. I don't know why I said Isaac. I'm so used to saying Isaac from... Oh, that was a really... Oh, God, that was the ugliest pause ever. Chat, ignore that. Saka and João Pedro to Martinelli and Edouard, or Simicas and Pedro to Edouard and Livramento. I think Simicas and João Pedro to Edouard and Livramento would be the way I would go. I think Edouard could be a decent option with Elise and Eze being back now. So yeah, I really don't mind Edouard as a shout. But I also don't think he's going to break the game and get you like loads of returns. I don't think he's someone that you should rely on every week to like save your game week. Any news on Saka? Nothing yet. I mean, we know that he travelled with the squad is the news that we've got, but he travelled with the squad against Man City and then just didn't feature at all, and apparently hadn't trained at all. So he might have just travelled with the squad again and he would do nothing. To be honest, I wouldn't mind Saka missing out because I've got Alvarez on the bench and I really don't like the idea of benching Alvarez ever. And also, I think a lot of people will not have such a good such a good first sub. So I think I will be better off than a lot of people. So I'm kind of secretly not minding if Saka misses out.
On that note, actually, should I replace Burn just in case of that scenario?
1 sec, let me look at your team. The irony of your previous joke about the camera overheating. What about my previous joke? What did I say? I don't know. I've lost. No, you've got Archer. Archer's fine as a first sub. Have you got 2 free transfers? That'd be for a hit, wouldn't it? Oh no, you haven't used a transfer, have you? How much do you have in the bank?
I have... Sorry, 1 second.
Sorry, chat, I'm just giving some private help.
I have 0.4 in the bank, so for Burn I have 5 mil. I have 5 mil to go.
Could go Livramento.
Livramento or Leicester?
Livramento.
Why?
Because he's got high upside, he could haul. Porro or Gahey start versus bench? I would start Gahey. Feels like Martinelli Hall's going with him as captain. Oh, I hope so. If Martinelli gets like a 10 plus pointer, I would be so happy. It feels like a while since I've pulled off a transfer like that. My wildcard went well, don't get me wrong, my wildcard's gone great, but bringing in a player and them just smashing it on that week, I feel like I haven't done that in... Do you know what? I don't know if I've done that this season. I don't think I have this season. Brought in a player in the week that I bring them in and they've done really, really well. I'd probably just have the Archer, honestly, and just roll.
So I have 0 Newcastle this week.
I think that's fine. They're depleted. They're injured. Free hit if I know my private league opponent is. Depends what your team looks like. Do you know, often a free hit doesn't mean that they'll outscore you, especially if they're free hitting to remove, like, Son. You probably wouldn't have Son on a free hit. They might be free hitting to remove... Cash, they might choose someone else in that spot. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean just because they've played the free hit that they'll outscore you. So I'd probably just keep your team and hope that their free hit flops. You create so many dilemmas for me. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. The reason for that is I try not to just say I would definitely do this or I definitely wouldn't. I try to present information and then allow you to make your own choice. Because I think that's the way that a content creator should do this. I don't think I should just sit here and go, do this, captain this player, do that. So I'll say, here are all of the things that you could possibly do, and then let you choose. Got a gut feeling Maddison to Martinelli instead of Saka, no Bowen. I would probably say at the moment it's Bowen, Martinelli, Saka. When Saka's fit, you probably want him though. But I think Bowen's the safer long-term option. But if you've got a feeling about Martinelli, that's exactly the feeling that I had. Go for it. Charlie says, just finished your book. I loved it. Oh, thank you very much, Charlie. I appreciate that. Also, Captain Watkins. Yes, I have no issue. After looking at the data in a little bit more detail, I think Watkins is a fine captaincy option. I just think Salah's just a monster. And I just don't... Unless I've got a real good reason to back against him. Like, if Salah this week was playing against Newcastle and Haaland was playing against Chelsea, I'd probably captain Watkins. But the fact that it's Brentford at home, although Brentford are pretty good away from home, they set up pretty well with back five. I don't know. I've captained Salah now 4 or 5 weeks in a row, and it just feels like I don't want to remove it from him. It removes a decision every week when I just captain Salah every week. Although next week I'll captain Son probably. I'm not captaining Salah next week. Is Bruno a serious captaincy option? Set piece king. He's really not a set piece king. In fact, Bruno's set pieces are absolutely diabolical. I don't understand why. Bruno's delivery from open play is so good. And sometimes he whips in some good free kicks, but his corners are so bad. Like, they are awful. And I love Bruno, but he's a penalty merchant, Bruno. That's for sure. I think Bruno captain is fine, yeah. I think Bruno captain is fine. Son to Martinelli for a -4. No, not for me. Not for me. Unless you've got a real feeling about Martinelli like I did. But even then, I wouldn't have sold Son for Martinelli. It was only because Maddison was injured. Who to bench this time? Got it horribly wrong last week. Have 2 free transfers. Should I get in someone? Defense, Simicast, Cash, Maguire, Gabriel, Trippier, Son, Saka, Matoma, Salah, Bowen, Darwin, Alvarez, Watkins. I don't think you need to make a transfer. Who should you bench? Oh my God, that is the most stacked team I've ever seen. I would bench Alvarez and Simicast. I mean, you've got the same team as me, haven't you, pretty much? Yeah, I've benched Alvarez and Simicast, so I would do the same. You've got the same attack and defense, pretty much. So, yeah, I'd bench Alvarez and Simicast. Hi, got Estepinian 0.4 in the bank. Boring move, just an Arsenal defender. Or -4, Estepinian to Livramento and Palmer to Eze with -4, 0 in the bank. I would, if it was my team, I'd go Estepinian to Saliba. But I like the Eze move as well. I think Praz and a couple of others that have Palmer are looking at moving to Eze. So I don't hate it. But yeah, for me, I would just go to Saliba. Estepinian to Saliba looks good. Alexander says, morning, Ross. Replacement for you, Doggy. Gabriel, Geiki, or Wan-Bissaka? I would probably go Gabriel. Has the FPL website crashed? Surely not now. It's 37. No, it's fine for me. It's 37 minutes until the deadline. I just need to screenshot my team, actually. I don't think it will change particularly. I think I'm going to keep the captaincy on Salah, but I do really like Watkins captain if you want to go for it. I also do like Martinelli. I like Trippier. I like Gordon. I like literally whoever you want to captain this week is fine. But I just think Salah's so reliable, isn't he? Start in Burmo or Morris, Haaland or Watkins cap. I would start in Burmo, and I would captain Watkins ahead of Haaland, in my personal opinion. Saka bench leaked on X. We'll look in a second. I would be very... I mean, I'm not saying it's not true, but I would be very surprised if Saka's benched. I think Saka doesn't make the squad or Saka starts. Like, what's the value in benching Saka? If Saka's fit, he plays. You don't risk him off the bench if you don't... Especially in a game like Burnley. Like, surely they won't need Saka off the bench. We'll have a look in a second. I haven't seen anything yet. Are Burn to Saliba and Neto to Rice good moves? Burn to Saliba and Neto to Rice. I don't know about Rice. I think there are better options than Rice. I like Burn to Saliba. I'd see if you can get someone else instead of Rice. I'm not sure about that one. KG says, hey Ross, not sure if you said this yet, but what's your plan to bring in Haaland? Also, Martinelli or Bowen for Madders. Honestly, my plan for Haaland is quite loose at the moment. All I know is it's going to be game week 16 at the latest, maybe game week 15. And it will probably be involving selling at least 2 of my attackers. I think I'm going to keep Trippier. It was a really easy route to getting Haaland when I wanted to sell Trips, right? Because Trippier down to a 4.5. One of my forwards down to a 4.5. Playing a 3-5-2 and then upgrade one of the other forwards to Haaland. Like, it was really straightforward, but I don't want to sell Trippier now. And that makes it a little bit trickier. So I need to think about it. Trippier. Martinelli or Bowen for Maddison. Bowen's the better long-term pick, but Martinelli I prefer for this week. But I think if you don't have Bowen, he's a nice transfer in. Thanks for that, Frost. Yeah, if anyone sees anything regarding Saka, let me know. I'll look into it. But just remember that a lot of people guess, a lot of people make up stuff for engagement and for clout. So unless it's a reliable source, I'm not going to talk about it in too much detail. AFC Flow says, hey Ross, start Simicast or do you doggy to Lascelles / other defender for a -4 and bench Simicast, or a Dinger to Gordon Eze for a -4, or just roll and pray? I would just roll and pray. I think Adingra should start, and he's a great option this week. Simicast should start, and even if he doesn't, as I said before, moving to another defender for a -4, for that to pay off in a single week is quite difficult. So I would start Simicast and Adingra and pray. Gary says, need Maddison and Burn out. Should I bring in Saka and Lascelles or Saliba and Bowen? Maddison and Burn out. Should I bring in Saka and Lascelles or Saliba and Bowen? I would go Saliba and Bowen. Hi, Ross. I have 2 free transfers and thinking of Matoma for Diaby. Any thoughts on benching Anderson over Cash? Thank you. I would keep Diaby. I wouldn't sell Diaby this week, personally. Thoughts on benching Anderson over Cash? Yeah, I would start Cash and bench Anderson. Liam says, need to sell Burn to another cheap defender. Thinking Gabriel, and then I'm going to do Maddison to either Bowen or Martinelli. What do you think? Yeah, I think Burn to Gabriel, Maddison to Bowen would be my moves there. Hi, Ross. Son or Bruno as a differential captain? Probably Bruno. I think the fixture's just there. I mean, they're both on penalties. They're both going to get 90 minutes, but Bruno's got the fixture, whereas Sonny doesn't. Trippier and Gordon or Martinelli and Gahey, thanks. Trippier and Gordon or Martinelli and Gahey. Oh, that's a tough one. I think I prefer Trips and Gordon. Yeah, I'd lean that way. Yeah, probably, just about. Hey, Ross, start Darwin or Diaby? Oof. Probably Diaby. The fixture's just much better, but that is a tough one. That's not an easy one to decide. Thoughts on Trippier captain or Watkins? I like both of them, but I prefer Watkins captain. 2 free transfers, don't want to waste. Areola, Turner, okay, that's your defence. Fulham defence actually works well to rotate in 13, 15, 18. Yeah, you could go there if you want to. I think the fact that you've not got a... I'm a bit confused by what's going on here. I'm a bit confused by the question, Karolef. But I think if you don't have a Crystal Palace defender, they're still fine. Outside of that, I think West Ham defenders rotate quite well. And yes, as you've said, Fulham defence work okay in the weeks that you might need them. So like a Castagna or someone like that could work. But realistically, do you want to play a Fulham defender very often is my concern. It's not just about fixtures. Start Lascelles, Simicast or Gahey, yet to transfer. I would start probably Lascelles, in all honesty, out of those options. Surprised you still remembered the KG. Of course, I've got a good memory. And you super chatted twice, so I appreciate it. And now that you super chatted 4 times, so I appreciate you, KG. Also, start one of them, Burmo or Alvarez. Definitely in Burmo for me, just because of the penalties. And I also think the fixture's better. So yeah, I would start in Burmo ahead of Alvarez. Hi, you Doggy and Alvarez to Zinchenko and Haaland. I'm not sure about Zinchenko long term. I like Haaland for this week. I would be more tempted by Gabriel than Zinchenko or Livramento. Zinchenko should start this game, and it's a good game to start. But just like longer term, Tomiyasu seems to be favoured, I think, at the moment, at least in the more difficult games. Alvarez or Gahey first bench, and don't use bench boost or bench boost with Sanchez, Livramento, or Maguire Gahey, and any striker under 6.5. I wouldn't bench boost. I would prefer to have Alvarez ahead of Gahey on the bench. Hope that answers your question, Ahmed. Ben says, Maddison for Saka, he's starting, or Andin for Gordon. I assume that's Adingra, maybe? Andin? I don't know who Andin is. Maddison for Saka. Yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing... I don't know if I'd bring in Saka now. I'd maybe go Martinelli or Bowen. I'd go Martinelli or Bowen, I think. Just because we just don't know if Saka's going to play. It could be a complete waste of a hit or a transfer. You've got just under half an hour until the deadline. So do make sure you think about those transfers. Saka or Bowen? I think Bowen. The thing is, I'm not saying Bowen's not an elite option, by the way. Bowen's not going to get you double-digit returns. He's not that kind of player. But this is what Bowen does for you. 9, 12, 7, 7, 9, 8, 7, right? It will just get you returns here and there. Might pick up some bonus points. He's got very decent non-penalty expected goals. The only slight concern with Bowen is he's much better away from home. So at home this season, 2, 2, 9, 2, 2. Away from home, 9, 12, 7, 7, 8, 7. He hasn't blanked away from home this season. So I think it's not a great fixture for him because he seems to be better at home. But do you know what he's got next week? Burnley away. Spurs away in 15 with the injuries that they've got. I really don't mind Bowen as an option. I think he's absolutely great for this spell here. After that, the fixtures aren't great. These two here. But then even after that, nice little run again. So I don't mind keeping Bowen indefinitely. But I also wouldn't mind selling him at some point because I don't think Bowen's the type of player that's going to massively punish you every week. He might get you the odd return. He ticks along, but he's not going to haul. Do you want to hold it up in the air?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it off in a second.
Loud now. Bench Eze, Matoma or Darwin? Oof. Oh, that's horrible. Maybe Darwin, because he's the only one that's a doubt whether he starts, but I think he will. Just because Eze's on pens, I feel horrible benching a penalty taker with an okay fixture. Matoma, you can't bench. Oh, God, that is difficult. Are you confident that Haaland doesn't start against Thiago Silva? Haaland doesn't start? Do you mean doesn't return? I think Haaland will return. I think Haaland returns in every single game. That's not reverse psychology. I really, truly do think that he will return every game. But I think that his ceiling is lower in the next 4 games. He might haul in the odd one, but I just think across the next 4, I don't look at that and think those are 4 games where he's going to smash it. That's just my opinion of it. But he could. He well could. Mateus says, start 2 of Alvarez, Luis Diaz, Edouard. I would bench... I'd bench Luis Diaz there because I think there's a chance he doesn't start. Downgrade Turner, 2 free transfers, 0 in the bank. Yeah, you could downgrade Turner to Strakosha. I don't mind that as a transfer. Especially if there's a chance Flecken does miss out. Maybe Strakosha takes the number 1 spot moving forward. I don't know. Could do. He plays pretty well. And when Strakosha plays, I like the look of him. Bench Mbermo or Ferguson this and next week. I think you've got to play Ferguson this week. It's the best fixture in the league. Are you doing 2 minutes of silence at 11? We could do... I don't know if I'll do 2 minutes. We could do a minute of silence at 11. Is it 11 or 11 you're supposed to do it at? Is it 11? Yeah, we could do that. I don't mind doing that. Start Diaby or Alvarez? I would start Diaby. Someone said do 30 minutes of silence. It is 11, isn't it? It's supposed to be 2 minutes, isn't it? We could do 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. It'll give me a chance to recover as well. But yeah, no, that would be nice to do together, wouldn't it? Okay, let's do that. Okay. It's to commemorate the lives of those lost. It was after World War One. Was it when the armistice was signed? You're testing my GCSE history here. It's to honour the lives of those lost during the war. It came around after, I think, World War One. 1918. I've probably lied to you there, but we'll say 1918. Play Lascelles or Anderson? Lascelles, just about. Lascelles, just about. Would you consider Nketiah? I don't think so, no. I just don't know. We don't know if he's going to start. It'll be Nketiah or Trossard, but could be both. Could be both. Start Diaby or Gahey? Definitely Diaby. Doku, Saliba for Maddison, Burn. Or would you do Bowen? I don't know. I prefer Bowen to Doku. Yeah, I don't mind Doku going forward if he gets enough minutes, but we still don't know how nailed he is with Grealish, obviously the main one competing. They could maybe play Doku on the right and Grealish on the left, but then Foden has to go somewhere. So, I'm just not convinced that... Are you making porridge? I just thought the microwave's going to be...
I think it's not anyway.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Play Lascelles around us, and we did that one. Son to Saka. I would just keep Son personally myself. Pedro to Gabriel and Matoma to Martinelli, free transfer. Pedro to Gabriel, Matoma to Martinelli, free transfer. she's making a racket over there. Yes. Matoma to Martinelli, no. No, sorry, I don't like that. I don't know why you'd sell Martinelli. Nah, I don't mind the idea of bringing Gabriel in. I like Martinelli, but not at the expense of someone like Matoma. Hi, what do you think of Declan Rice as a differential? Had Doku last week. Declan Rice. I mean, what's his data saying? Sorry, chat. I have ADHD. I'm struggling to focus a little bit. I'm answering the questions really weirdly. Right. Let me have a look at Declan Rice's data. Home and away players. Oh, I need to refresh it. It's not working now. Declan Rice only shows selected players. His XGI per 90 is 0.15. No, I hate Declan Rice as an option then. I wanted to say that I don't like Declan Rice as an option, but I wanted to make sure that I hadn't overlooked something. Because, like Decore at Everton has got outrageous data. Rodri actually doesn't have terrible data this year, but no, I don't like Declan Rice as an option, personally. He might get a return this week because it's Burnley, but as an option, no, not for me. Discuss Palace versus Liverpool defence, Gahey versus Tsimikas. They're very similar defensively, Liverpool and Palace. I think that the fixture is better for Gahey and he's got more secure minutes, therefore I would go that way. But I think with regard the defences, I don't think there's much to separate them. We can double check that. If we go Fantasy Football Hub, and then to teams, and then if we go to expected goals conceded, and we go to home, wait, Liverpool are the best defence in the league at home this season. I did not know that. Okay, ignore me completely. Maybe start Tsimikas. Should we start Tsimikas? Why did no one tell me this? Why did no one tell me that Liverpool are the best defence in the league this season at home? Did we know this? I thought they were around mid-table. Palace are still a decent defence. They must be terrible away then, Liverpool. Okay, yeah, they're sort of mid-table. Liverpool have just been a decent defence this year, haven't they? Yeah, they're the 5th best defence in the league this season, Liverpool. Palace are up there in 8th or 9th. Do you know what? Maybe then. Maybe Tsimikas is the one. What do we think about that, chat, now that we've had that revelation? Taken -4 to bring in Saka. I wouldn't do that, no. I wouldn't do that. I kind of want to start Simicast after looking at that. Gahey or Mitchell? Gahey. Just about. Simicast may not even start. Yeah, this is the issue, isn't it? And it is Brentford. Like, Brentford are a good attack. I think I'm still leaning towards starting the Crystal Palace, man. I'm feeling so indecisive, I'm going to end up burning a transfer and starting a flagged Wilson. A few people have Wilson predicted to start, but I just don't know that they'll risk him. Which £4.6 million goalkeeper to bring in? Other goalkeeper is Areola. Is Johnston 4.7 now? Johnston. Yeah, if you can afford Johnston, go Johnston. Yeah, Johnston's the one. Start Maguire or Lascelles. Do you know what? I would go Maguire. He's actually been pretty decent from set pieces so far this season. Like, he's had a few chances. Oh no, the sun is blinding me. Gabriel or Maguire? Gabriel in that case. I think Arsenal defence, thank you for doing that. Gabriel is probably one of the better players to start this week, I think. I would be shocked if Arsenal don't keep a clean sheet. Honestly. I hope they don't, because I don't have an Arsenal defender, but I would be shocked. Burnley have struggled a lot more than I thought they would this season. I was really hoping that Company and Burnley would just smash it, and they've just not. Obviously, Foster isn't playing now due to mental health reasons, and we hope that he's okay moving forward and that he gets the help that he needs, but that weakens them as an attack, because Lyle Foster was their only real threat going forward. Start Simicast or Palmer. I would start Palmer ahead of Simicast. He's on pens. Like, all he needs is one fluky pen again. We've seen it in recent weeks. And he's also very creative too. And Man City certainly aren't impenetrable. Impenetrable. Impenetrated words. Really struggled to get that out then. You should really be doing the 2-minute silence regardless if you're on stream. What do you mean? Yeah, I would, but I was just discussing it with the chat. But we're going to do it. We're going to do the 2-minute silence together. Impenetrable. Impenetrable, that's the one. Words with Ross. That's your word of the day. Maddison to Matoma, Son to Mbermo, get in Haaland in 2 weeks, already have Salah. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Go for it. Sounds good. Barat. If you had Haaland, would you captain him over Salah? No. No, I wouldn't. Yes, I really like Watkins captain for everyone that's asking. Really big fan. Been saying that all stream. Really like it. The data supports it as a pick as well. Start 3 out of Simicast, Trippier, Gahey, Zinchenko, Cash. I would bench Simicast and Gahey and start the other 3. So I'd start Trippier, Zinchenko, and Cash. Robert says, hey Ross, would you help me pick one to bench out of Bowen, Bruno, Ferguson, Darwin, Watkins, Gordon? All play at home except Gordon. Oof. Bowen, Bruno, Ferguson, Darwin, Watkins, Gordon. I wouldn't bench any of them. I think it's got to be Darwin or Bowen. I don't think you can bench Bruno, Ferguson, Watkins, or Gordon. I think the fixtures are too good combination of data as well. Bowen or Darwin. I'd probably Bowen somehow out of all of those options would be on the bench for me. Yeah, that is a really tough one. Simicast or Diaz? What, to start this week, Simicast? To buy, neither. You've got under 15 minutes until the deadline. Make sure you lock those teams in soon. I can actually tweet my team out now, in all honesty. Let me just get that done. Bang. Just one sec. I've got some potential early team news on Arsenal. I don't know that I trust that. I've been given early Arsenal team news, but the source has been right and wrong. So I don't want to give it to you because I can, but like it could be wrong and it could be right. So at that stage, it's not team news; it's a guess. KG says, "Hey Ross, I have Simicast, Trippier, Cash, Taylor, and Burn. Would you use the second transfer on Burn to Lascelles, or rather play Simicast and wait for the international break?" I would play Simicast and wait. Yeah, I don't think you need to make the move this week. Because it may be that you actually realise you want Livramento. Or it may be that you realise you want to upgrade Burn to an Arsenal defender. Like, I think giving yourself the international break to think it over is probably wise. So I would just about lean that way. Okay, the source told me that Saka and Trossard start. But I have no idea if that's true or not. I have absolutely no idea if that's true or not. That was just what I've been DM'd. But like I said, the source was wrong like 4 times last week. So I wouldn't make a move based on that. But that would be lovely. If Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka could be the front 3, that would be the perfect situation for me. Yeah, I can't see anything overly obvious at the moment. I will keep an eye on Twitter right now, so do bear with me if I'm reading rather than... Sounds like speculation. Yeah, probably. That's what I'm saying. I've given it to you, but don't take that as I'm telling you that's the case. I'm just telling you that's what I was sent. Oh, I really, really hope it's Trossard through the middle. That would benefit my team massively with... Why is Frank Walsh being cited as the source? Frank Walsh doesn't have any sources. Oh, God. Early team has been a nightmare. No, don't captain Saka based on that. Please. Please don't do that based on what I've just said. I have no idea if Saka starts or not. I've got Burn, Udogi, Estepinian, and Maddison. Should I take a -8 with 2 free transfers or free hit? So you've got 4 defenders not playing. And Maddison. Dear Lord. To be honest, Burn and... Udogi's back next week. Burn and Botman are out long term. Estepinian's out long term. I mean, free hit's not going to help you there. If you free hit, you're going to be stuck next week probably with Burn, Botman, and Estepinian who aren't playing again, and Maddison. So I think you need to take the hit. I don't think free hitting helps you here. I think you take out Burn and Botman for maybe Livramento and Lascelles, and then you do Maddison. Yeah, then you do Maddison to another midfielder, and you probably leave Udogi and Estepinian for now. That would be what I would do. Website and app are down for me. For everyone saying that I pronounce Udogi wrong, I 5,000,000% don't, because in an interview he specifically said it's Udogi. Because there were loads of people from Nigeria that like, you're wrong. It's we have that name in our tribe and it's pronounced this way. But he said it in an interview. Unless he's adapting it for the UK, which may well be the case. But regardless, that's the way that he's told us to pronounce it. So, oh, camera's gone. I will continue to say, even though it sounds a bit weird, Udogi. Until he comes out and tells us otherwise. You have got less than 10 minutes until the deadline. Make sure that you lock in those teams. Apparently the site is crashing for a few people, as is the app. It looks okay for me for now, but just make sure that you get it sorted ASAP. Hi, Ross. Why Watkins over Martinelli as captain, tending to go different with Martinelli? I think they're both fine. I just looked at Watkins' data at home and I looked at Fulham's data away. And I think that we're pretty confident that Watkins will get chances based on that. Neither of them are on penalty, so that's the reason I probably wouldn't I do like to captain penalty takers. I will very rarely not captain a pen taker. In fact, I think I've captained a penalty taker in every game week this season for that reason. Simicast, Trippier, Cash, Maguire, Gabriel. I would bench Simicast and Cash. I would start Trippier, Maguire, and Gabriel there. Right, let's see if this camera wants to work itself now. Just as a note, by the way, if you are going to stay with me after the deadline, we are doing 2 minutes of silence at 11 a.m. So 11 a.m, as soon as the deadline hits to 2 a.m, I will mute myself and we will do 2 minutes of silence. Oh, and the camera still doesn't want to work. Nice. Yeah, I'll be Captain Salah, yeah. Start Gordon or Alvarez? I would start Gordon. Start Alvarez or Diaby? I would start Diaby. Why did you choose Matoma or Martinelli? I chose Martinelli. I just had a feeling, just a gut feel. It might not pay off at all. Salah or Haaland captain? Definitely Salah ahead of Haaland. I don't think that's even a conversation. I don't mind Haaland as a pick, but I don't know that I would captain him necessarily. I've actually moved my camera too far that way. There you go. Right, I'm just going to have a quick scroll to see if I can find out any early team news. And if not, then we just assume I think that Saka's available. If you want my prediction, Saka starts. If you want what I know, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I would predict the front three is Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, but it could be any combination of that. Nketiah could quite comfortably start as well. Frosty, if you haven't made the move, apparently Wilson has travelled with the Newcastle squad. Don't know if that means he plays or not, but we'll see. I'm hoping... I mean, I don't really care, in all honesty. Like I said, I've got a really nice first sub that I don't mind playing, so... Saka or Watkins as a risky captain? I think Watkins, just because you know he'll start. We still don't know whether Saka starts or not. Matoma or Gordon? I think I still prefer Matoma slightly. Why not Trippier captain? Most likely clean sheet, bonus, and attacking returns. Yeah, if he gets a clean sheet, bonus, and attacking returns. But I don't think you understand how... Like, many things need to go in his favour to get all three of those things there, right? To get a clean sheet and an attacking return. I know Trippier has done it a lot recently, but that is some ask. You need Newcastle to defend well, despite Trippier probably being out at left back, having Lascelles and Livramento in the defence. Like, they've lost 3 of their starting defenders. 3? 2. Botman and Burton. But, I don't know. One of them's out of position. I don't think the clean sheets is as locked in as some people are suggesting. And also, to get an attacking return, if he is at left back, he might struggle slightly more. JC12 says, Alvarez, Mitchell, Lamptey, bench. Is it worth getting Lascelles for free and using the bench boost? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not that keen. Alvarez is fine if you need him, but I don't think he's got a high ceiling against Chelsea. Mitchell is fine if you need him, but Everton have been good recently. Like, it's not a terrible defence. It's not a terrible bench boost, but I think there will be better opportunities in the future, probably. Start Alvarez or Gordon? I would start Gordon ahead of Alvarez. Simran says bench 1. Bench 1. Ferguson, Matoma, Darwin, Saka. Probably Saka because he's the only one we're not sure if he starts or not. But if he starts, he's one of the better options. But yeah, I don't think you can bench any of the other 3. The fixtures are just there and we know they'll start. I guess Ferguson, we don't know who will start, but we think he will. Man United _777 says Archer, Saka, and Lascelles/Livramento in for Alvarez, Garnacho, and Simicas. Essentially, it's Saka in for Alvarez. Is it worth it long term? I think long term, yes, but I mean, you're a United fan. I think Garnacho will probably start if I had to predict. Garnacho against Luton at home. I don't think you need to make those moves this week. But yeah, longer term, I prefer the idea of moving Alvarez to Saka. But yeah, I've got... Or maybe I'm wrong. I'm not great at predicting Man United lineups, but I think Garnacho starts. Don't forget to screenshot your team. Thank you very much, Peter. I've already done that and I've already tweeted it. Believe it or not. The tweet is already there. Feel free to go like the tweet. Let me give one final check of Twitter just in case we get something at the moment. There will be some pretty big swings this week if Saka doesn't feature because so many people have different first subs. Like we saw last week with like Archer getting the 9-pointer. Like Taylor the week before, subbing in for Gabriel. Like Mbermo got that 13 or 14 pointer when he subbed in for some people. So like there will be some big old swings if Saka doesn't feature. Are you a fan of a fry-up? Absolutely. Absolutely. FPL Leaks says Saka starts. Oh, it's not the same bloody guy again. Chat. What have we spoken about?
I feel like I should have transferred someone in.
For who? Well, you still got 2 minutes.
Well, I feel like...
It would be Livramento or Lascelles for Burn if you want to do that.
No, it's just I don't really want Archer. If Saka doesn't start.
Yes.
If Alvarez, it's fine.
I think most people will have Archer if Saka doesn't start. I think you're in a position where you've got Archer as your first sub, that's fine. Brighton have got a decimated defence. Dunk apparently is injured. Estepinan's out. I mean, that Brighton defence is looking rough. FPL Leaks the OG. Don't start with me. You done your Super 6, Ross? Maybe not. Maybe we'll do that after the 2 minutes of silence. Again, at 11 a.m., if you're wondering what's happening, I will say that's the deadline, and then I'm going to mute myself, and we're going to do 2 minutes of silence, okay? No, I haven't done my Super 6. I'll do that after. We can do the Super 6 together. I like doing that. Leaked FPL is the worst account on Twitter. Yeah, he is. Yeah, just block him. No one has any Saka news, unfortunately. You've got less than a minute until the deadline. Make sure you lock in your teams, and then we'll do our 2 minutes of silence together. I really don't mind Livramento or Lascelles for people wondering. I think both are fine. I would probably take a punt on... Sorry, Frosty just sent me something. Saka is with the squad and Nketiah is with the squad. Yeah, we expected that. I think Saka will be fine, is my prediction, but I don't know that. We are doing 2 minutes of silence to commemorate the lives of those lost during the war. So that's what we're doing 2 minutes silence for. We do it in the UK. I don't know if it's just in the UK, but it's 11 a.m. So, yeah. Feel free to leave and come back, or feel free to just chill with me. Cool. Right, chat. That is the deadline locked in. We're going to do 2 minutes of silence, and then we'll get back to the normal post-deadline part of the stream. Cool. Cool. 2 minutes over, chat. Obviously, didn't force anyone else to do the 2 minutes, but that's what we do in the UK. So there is the 2 minutes of silence. Right. Back to normal business then. Post deadline. Ask any questions you want. We'll do the Super Six. You should have locked the chat. I can't actually lock the chat midstream. Yeah, there's no way for me to do that. I would have to end the stream and start a new stream with a chat. It would have been a nightmare. Right. What was going to do? We'll do Super 6 in a second, but if anyone has any questions, I feel like with the post-deadline stream these days, no one asks me any questions. It's just normally me getting insulted, and then me saying I'm getting insulted, and then that's it. The 2 minutes wasn't for Palestine, but of course, within the 2 minute silence, you can commemorate the lives of anyone that's lost if you'd like to. But it was for Armistice, Remembrance Day. It was for the 2 minutes of silence for the lives of those lost during the war. But I guess during any war as well. Feel free to commemorate whoever you want during that period. Hot or cold mince pies? Just moving on to completely unrelated stuff now. Hot or cold mince pies? My answer to that is I don't really like mince pies. If I were to have a mince pie, though, it's got to be hot, hasn't it, really? Do you like mince pies?
Take it or leave it. They're okay.
Chat, do we like mince pies? What's your total points, mate? I think it's 670. Show us the Mrs. team. Yeah, I can show you. She rolled the... Did you make any changes that she sent it to me?
Yep.
You made changes?
Yep.
Why are you saying yep like that? Did you make a transfer?
No.
Who did you change captain? Yep. Did you captain Watkins?
Nope.
You captain Haaland?
Yep.
I hate you so much. You take the piss, honestly. Right, so I'm going to show you her team, but she's captained Haaland. She's such a wind-up. She does that because I don't have him.
No, I didn't have to.
Right, I'll show you her team.
It's not very good.
That's the Mrs. team. Oh, that was zoomed in. But just imagine now that the captaincy is on Haaland because she hates me.
You should support your girlfriend. You should.
How about you should support your... my ambition. How about you should support your boyfriend? Have you considered that? Outrageous, chat. She's outrageous. Better than you. Do you know what? You all piss me off. You annoy me. You. About you. You all annoy me. Where am I? What's her overall rank? She's 4 points behind me.
I used to be ahead.
She was 30 points ahead of me, and then I sold Haaland.
You know what?
Are you planning to sell Villa players soon? Yes. Can we see your missus? No, she's not presentable right now.
That's so rude.
Well, come on, mate. Come show your face if you think you're presentable.
That's so rude.
Well, come here if you want to show your face. How tall are you? 5'10". Do you think you'll finally catch Sonic one of these days? That is outrageous. That's a creative insult. I will accept it. Shower or bath? I haven't had a bath for... This sounds like I haven't washed. I haven't had a bath where I live for a while, so I have to shower. But I am a bath man. If I have a bath, I will normally bath. Or as my girlfriend says, bath. Which is just weird. It's just incorrect, isn't it? Bath. I'll give you an extra 2 inches. I'm 6'3". I don't want 2 of your inches. That's a bit sus. Why are you roasting her?
Yeah. Why should I support you if you can say rude things?
Why am I roasting you?
What did I do? I just captained.
Do you want me to read out the list of roasts that you've given me recently? I had to make a notes document of all of the times that she roasted me because she insults me more than the chat. Saka not seen at Turf Moor, everyone. Whee, funny. She sounds peng. Don't smile. How tall is your girlfriend? She is 5'1.5".
Yeah.
Yeah, 5'1.5". Which part of the UK are you from? I don't know why I thought about that. I'm from London, Essex, south. Nah, Bath is crazy. That's how you say it, Bath. How do you say pasta? Pasta. Pasta. No one says pasta in the UK, I don't think. Would you take me on a date if your girlfriend didn't know? Yeah, just don't tell her.
Go for it.
What do you mean go for it? Right, Alexander, she said go for it. We're going to go on a date. FPL YouTubers don't have girlfriends. You've been rumbled. What are you laughing for? Ross, have you seen Dumbledore lately? I don't understand. I missed the joke. What's your favourite holiday destination? Italy. She's beating you at fantasy today. Thanks. As bench boosted by accident. No.
No, surely not.
No one makes that mistake.
Surely not.
How'd you bench boost by accident? There's no way you did that. Oh my god, he did.
Wait, really?
Oh my good god, let me show you.
Nah, surely he's just doing that for the fun of it at this point.
No, he's because Andy texted him. I'll show you, chat. Oh.
Oh, damn.
So as tweeted, this is as from FPL Black Box, bless him. As tweeted his team out like this. Can you see? It's so subtle now. You see that line around the bench, that blue line. That means you got your bench boost active. And then Andy said, "Are you bench boosting?" And then he sent this from their chat, and Az clearly didn't realize. That's so sad. Oh, because Az is having such a bad season already as well. Do you know what? He's probably just going to give up on this.
Oh, no, not after the 11-pointer last week.
Do you know what? He could do well. He's got Simicast on the bench. If Simicast smashes it, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse.
Could be worse, couldn't it?
Although, this turning a start.
No. No, Turner's not going to start. Bro is just farming impressions for bad FPL luck at the moment. Yeah, to be fair, you do get more impressions when you do badly. No one cares when you're doing well. Who is doing the laundry today? I did all the laundry yesterday. I am a domestic goddess when it comes to doing stuff around the house. I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll tidy. Mrs. Raptor should open her own channel too. She should. She should. When did your girlfriend pick up interest in FPL? 3 seasons ago? Yeah. 3 seasons ago. You've played for 2 full seasons. This is your third? Yeah, 3 seasons ago. She started watching my videos about 18 months ago, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, in 2021 I started playing FPL.
Yeah. Ross, do you shave your chest? No. I've got a hairy chest. I'm a man. No, I do not shave my chest. Riz. Oh, that was a big stretch. Right, yeah, Super 6. What is Super 6?
I love that. That's so good.
What was it?
Girlfriend intro stream called Raptors and Raptors. That's so cool.
I don't know why I can't see that. Who said that? I'm trying to read.
FPL Berardi. Just scroll up.
I know, but there's so many messages. I can't. FBL Raptors girlfriend's in the chat. Here we go again. Oh, girlfriend in Raptors and Raptors. That could be our podcast name.
That's actually really cool.
Should that be our podcast name?
I think we need to write that down.
You write that down. We need a mic on the girlfriend. Do you want to come closer so people can hear you more?
I'm quite comfortable, to be honest.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I'll try and talk louder.
Right, Super 6. Just making sure I haven't missed that. Why do you enjoy roasting her? It's just fun, innit?
So rude.
How did you meet? Did she check you out? She was in my deadline stream about, I don't know, a few months back, and then I slid into her DMs. Pork scratchings or beef jerky?
Oh,
Neither for me.
neither.
Why is she shy? I don't know. She's just a little bit shy. Right. We're going to do Super 6. First prediction.
Max can get in the bin.
What did Max say? Why does Max get in the bin? I don't know. I don't know how you see people's names. There's just so many things all. I don't know. I missed it. Sorry, Arsenal Burnley. What do we think the result will be? No, I'm not gambling. This is free to play. So,
2-0.
what did you say? 2-0.
Yeah.
Why would I bring a Martinelli then if it's going to be 2-0?
Nothing to do with me.
I'm going optimistic here that Arsenal will concede, even though I don't think they will, but I'm just hoping. Therefore, I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. 3-1 Arsenal. Max said she can get in the bin. Why are you beefing with Max?
Sorry, Max. I'm only joking.
Oh, I see what Max said. We've heard enough of her. Callum, I've seen you before. You're the main character of Baldylocks and the Three Bears. Imagine doing a £5 super chat to call me Baldylocks. Sorry, I've just seen a couple of other super chats. FPL Logan Roy said, if I had 4 eggs and a thief gave me 3, and my rooster laid 5 more, how many do I have egg riddles? A thief gave you 3. Did the thief steal some of your original 4 eggs? And your rooster laid 5 more. But did your rooster already... did you count the eggs that your rooster already had? There are so many questions here. I'm going to say 7 randomly. Ross Discord entry pending. Need manual entry help. Great stream, by the way. Message Frosty or Harris on Discord and they'll sort you out. Raptor, I captained 4. Martinelli, Salah, Watkins, Bruno. What do you mean you captained 4? I don't know what that means, Hardcore Alley. Right, sorry, next one. Man United versus Luton. Man United versus Luton.
1-0 to lose.
A rooster can't lay eggs. Then the whole riddle's broken. Can roosters not lay eggs? Well, how do roosters have babies? They just pop out whole roosters. These are the things we should learn in school, really. What are you giggling so much about? What have you seen that's making you laugh?
No, I'm just laughing at myself. I said 1-0 to Luton.
1-0 Luton. Oh, she is such a wind-up. You wonder why I roast her. What are Harry and Oscar saying? Oh, nothing interesting. I'm going to go 3-0 Man United. I'm backing my boys. 3-0 Man United. Roosters are male. I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't know that. No, genuinely. Like, I'm not going to try and like hide that now and like go, oh yeah, I knew that. I was just no, I genuinely didn't know roosters were males. I thought rooster was a type of chicken. I thought rooster was like a different type of chicken. The rooster had a sex change. Oh god, this riddle is getting so right. So let me reread it. I had 4 eggs. A thief gave me 3. And the rooster that may or may not have had a sex change laid 5 more. How many do I have? You had 4. A thief gave you 3. But did the thief steal 3 and then give them back? So technically 4. The rooster can't lay any eggs. So is the answer 4? What a weird riddle. What is the name of the app? This is Super 6. But as I always say, it peppers you with betting stuff. Like, it's basically to try and get you to gamble. Super 6 is free, but if you have a susceptibility to gambling, I wouldn't download it. I think you can also only do it in some countries as well.
Yeah.
Every day is called hen's a female. Oh, like a hendu, and a rooster party. That sounds a bit sus, doesn't it? Right, sorry. Next one. Crystal Palace versus Everton. What are we saying? That's a difficult one. Palace versus Everton. 1-0 to who?
No, 0-0.
0-0.
Yeah.
We'd like that, wouldn't we?
Yeah. I'd like that.
What do you think? Crystal Palace versus Everton. Oh, lots of people saying 0-0. I think there'll be goals in this.
I think it'll be like a 0-0, 1-1 situation. I don't think there'll be many goals.
1-0 Palace, says Zodiac. 1-1 says Frosty. Brownie, 1-0 Palace. Lots of people saying 1-0 Palace. 0-0. Yeah, I don't think there'll be that many goals. I'm going to go 1-1. Palace 1, Everton 1. Which wouldn't be ideal from a defensive perspective. I'm hoping it's not Eze that gets that goal. Right. Next one. Bournemouth versus Newcastle. Bournemouth versus Newcastle.
2-1.
That's what you're hoping for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Limited goals for Newcastle. Newcastle, Bournemouth. What do we think the result will be?
A lot of people thinking they'll concede.
Yeah, I think they will.
I would like that right now.
I don't think there'll be that many clean sheets this game week. Actually, do I think they'll concede? Is that just because I'm worried that they'll concede because I've got trips?
Bournemouth aren't terrible.
I've gone 4-1 Newcastle. That's going to be my guess.
Interesting.
Do I think I scored 4?
I don't think so. Away. And their squad's a bit.
Maybe I'm dropping that to 3-1. Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-1 instead. Okay, next one. West Ham versus Nottingham Forest. West Ham versus Nottingham Forest.
I think 2-1 that to West Ham.
West Ham versus Nottingham Forest. Okay, I'm saying a very different thing to everyone else here. Everyone's predicting a lot of goals in this. Three 1 2-2 3-3. I've gone for the bold Areola clean sheet. I've gone for a 1-0 West Ham.
That would be nice.
I'd love an Areola clean sheet. We deserve an Areola clean sheet. Do you know what? Not been enough clean sheets recently. Hopefully he saves a pen as well. Would be nice. Okay, final one. Oh, I'm scared about this game. Chelsea, Man City. What do we think? Chelsea, Man City. 2-1 Chelsea.
No. 2-2. I think 2-1 Man City. 3-1.
8-1 Man City. Oh, God, I would sob. I've benched Alvarez and I don't have Haaland for the second week in a row. No, actually, that's a lie. I did it in game week 10, though, didn't I? 2-1 City, 3-0. I do think City, I think it's just such an obvious 3-1 City. I bet my house on that being the result. City will win comfortably. I think Chelsea will maybe grab a goal. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not Palmer again. I think Haaland will get a goal and an assist. My prediction. I think Haaland will walk away with an 11-pointer. No, that'd be a 12-pointer, wouldn't it, with max bonus? I think Haaland will get an 11-pointer with 2 bonus. No, yeah, he'll get a 12, wouldn't he? It's a shame. Max says, apologise for the slander, Mrs. Raptor, just backing Ross. Max did a £2 super chat to say sorry.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
She said that's okay, Max. She forgives you.
I said sorry to him first.
Yeah, she said sorry as well.
I forgive you, Max.
Right, Super 6 submitted. Thank you for your help, chat, as always. The early kickoff is Spurs, isn't it? Is it Spurs? Yeah, Spurs.
Wait, is he saying to me that I need to apologise to you in that super chat? I don't know. 'Cause it's like, apologise for slander, Mrs. Raptor. Just backing Ross. Or is it?
I think that's supposed to be apologies.
Oh.
I would imagine.
Okay.
Is she even Mrs. Raptor yet? Well, no, we're not married, but she's my girlfriend. No one cares about Spurs anymore. Their team has been decimated. Some people have Pedro Porro.
I have Huang.
Oh, yes. Mrs. Raptor has Huang. Huang
He was
Hee-chan.
on the bench, but then things happened. And
Yeah. I think
Burn
I think he'll do well.
he might do okay. I'm just gonna really.
How big is your TV? I don't have a TV. Oh, my camera's gone again. Nightmare. Hey, Son versus the early kickoff. Yeah, Son doesn't tend to do very well in the early kickoff, does he? She has a Huang. Is she transitioning? No, no. Chat, you're outrageous.
Massive.
Is it? Can't wait to see it. Get a TV. I don't want a TV. Make me. Is my camera working now? Oh, the camera is having a fit today. It's because it took an hour and 20 minutes to freeze the first time. How many are coming to the meetup on the second? Oh, thank you so much for reminding me. Chat, stay there. 1 second. I'm doing a meetup. If ever anyone wants to meet my face. It's not a meet and greet. It's not just for meet me. There'll be loads of people there, but that might be an added nudge. You know what? That's not an incentive. There's an FPL meetup. We've got, I don't know, like 50-something people confirmed. All right, there I am. I'm back. Let me go over onto Twitter. Oh, God, I've turned that too far that way now. There we go. And then if I go on my profile and then go on media. 1 second, I'll have to scroll back a little bit. There we go. Perfect. That takes up the screen. Lovely. I'm doing a meetup. I know a lot of people won't be able to make this, but if you can, whoa. There you go. I'm doing a meetup on the 2nd of December in Nottingham at 12 p.m. Mrs. Raptor may or may not be there, which is exciting. And yeah, anyone's free. Feel free to come, but just if you are attending, if you can email me, just that I've got a bit of a like rough head count. I think at the moment we've got 52 confirmed. You're right there.
Sorry, I don't know how to start doing that.
Where in Brum is Mrs. Raptor from? Can I say this?
No.
Okay. No. No, I'm not going to give your postcode.
No.
Okay.
Birmingham's enough info.
Enough info. That's enough info, apparently. Any hotel recommendations? I'm coming up from the south. There's a couple of Premier Inns and a couple of travel lodges in the city centre. I'd probably just do that. Probably the cheapest way to do it. Other than that, I don't know, because I live in Nottingham, so I just obviously will be at mine. Should we just everyone sleep at mine? I still haven't got a pass. Might have to drag the Frosty household up to Nottingham for a day out and pop in when they're in the shops or something. That works, Frosty. that works. Will we meet your girlfriend there? Yes, she'll be there. It's a big day out. It's her first day out as my missus. House party. Yeah, back to mine for a house party afterwards. No.
What would that actually kind of work?
52 people in here. That would be lit. That'd be like a club. Yeah, so basically just drop me an email if you want to come. Hopefully some of you can. That'd be great news. Okay. First date, come meet my internet friends. No, we've been on many a date. It will be her first time where people recognize, well, a lot of people recognize me, and they will know who she is, I guess. She might bottle it last minute, who knows? Making her debut. Yeah. Are there pickles available at the meetup? I hope so.
There should be.
Yeah, if there's not, there should be. Send tickets so I can come from India. Maybe at some point I'll have to do that. Fly someone out from a different country. Not for this one. But about time you get a proper email, Ross. It's like £1 a year. What is wrong with fplraptor@gmail.com? That is a proper email. Bring Chunks, I beg. Chunks isn't going to come to Nottingham. If it was in London, I could probably get Chunks there if he was free. But he's not going to come to Notts.
I might go to the meetup and pretend I'm a super fan.
You are a super fan. I don't know what you mean pretend.
No, but someone was like, just pretend she's not with you.
Yeah.
Then 50 people realise she's an imposter. I'll just queue up.
I went to that Hooters in Nottingham once, by the way, Ross. Yeah, it's good. The boneless wings in there slap. Can you predict the Spurs score? 2-1 Spurs. Any advice, Ross? I'm going on my first date tomorrow. Be yourself. Terrible advice, but true. Well, not terrible advice. Cliche advice, but true. Smile a lot. Smiling's everything. I don't think people realize how important smiling is for everything in life, whether it be an interview, whether it be making a YouTube video, whether it be an interview, a date, whether it be just in a conversation. Smiling helps. So even if you're nervous, try and paper it with a smile.
Active listening. Ask questions.
Oh,
Show interest.
okay. We got active listening, show interest, and ask questions, or ask questions according to her. Yeah. It's difficult because something that I struggle with, especially if I'm nervous, is like I'll try and think of questions ahead of time. So like if there's a date coming up or something and you're a bit nervous, it's like trying to list the questions like what you can ask if it gets awkward. But just try not to do that. Try and just bounce off of what she says. Because I think if she says like something about her and then you've got preloaded a question already, there's nothing to do with what she says. It just looks like you're not listening. So listen, smile. She's always right. Yeah. When you finish your PhD, you have to do an FPL Raptor World Tour. I would love that. Mrs. Raptor is hinting at you. Tell them how amazing of a boyfriend I am.
No,
Very loud.
you are wonderful.
She said I'm wonderful if you didn't hear that. Chat, listen, you know that I would be a fantastic boyfriend. Don't lie. Don't lie, you know. Good manners take off their cap inside. Van Dijk's in the chat. I'm going to have a big mark on my head because I've had my hat on for like, oh. There you go. See, I've got good manners. God, that is dug into my head. Why are you laughing at my egghead for? Looking rather peaky. Oh, big stretch. You have a great head shape. Thanks. Oh, put it back on, please. We have never seen your girlfriend. It could just be a robot. It's true.
Yeah, true. I'm not real, sorry.
My robot has sentience. Lineups are out. Yeah, we can have a look. What's yours and Mrs. Raptor's plans for the rest of the day? Honestly, just chilling. We're going to go to the gym this evening, probably. But other than that, it'll just be fairly chilled. Okay, it's the 11 that we expected then. Looks like it will be Davis at centre-back with Dyer, Pedro Porro and Royal as the full-backs, Højbjerg, Bissouma, Sarr, Kulusevski, Son, Johnson. I think there was a few potential guesses that Lo Celso could start, but it looks like it will probably be Bissouma in that like number 10, if there is one. Or like the more advanced 8, I suppose, because I don't think he plays for like an out-and-out 10. I missed the deadline again. What's the update on Saka? There's no update, sadly. How often do you get recognised? Like 5 to 10 times a week, something like that. I do teach at university, so like word gets around, and obviously a lot of people at uni watch FPL stuff. So I think because I teach at uni, I get recognised a lot more. Most of the places that I get recognised is at uni. Ross, how many hats do you own? I probably own like 15, but I rotate between 2. This is definitely my favourite cap. I like the design, I like the shape, I like the colour. This one's definitely my favourite. Oh, chat, I'm very hungry. Let me tell you that for free. I need to get some lunch. Mrs. Raptor's probably starving as well. I want to come to the meetup so bad. Do it, Abby, if you can. Please show us your girlfriend. Tell her we don't bite, honestly. I think you will in the future at some point, but not for now. You're starving your girlfriend. Yeah, I know. Bless her. She has to sit there for 3 hours whilst I stream. Oof. Do you have a Nottingham University League? Would be a good idea. Not really, no. Raptor Riz. What's starving her? I'll see you in Newton Monday, Raptor. What am I doing on Monday? What do you teach at uni, Egg? Sports psychology. Are you cooking or ordering today? I don't know. Mrs. Raptor's currently doing a wee, and then I'll ask her. Captain Martinelli, 30k overall. Am I mad? No, I quite like Martinelli captain. I quite like it. Have you ever scored a hat trick? Me? Yeah, plenty. Plenty. I scored a hat trick against Chelsea in under 14s. my throat. Can you hear my throat is gone? At least it lasted the length of the stream. Will you ever tell us what teams you're working with at uni? They're Prem teams. There's like 4, maybe like 5 or 6 Premier League teams that we're working with. So there's going to be some wild swings this week, methinks. Yeah, I think whenever captaincy is split, and whenever there's potential like bench, like people coming off the bench and stuff like that, it's always very swingy. Oh my god, my voice is gone. What's your favourite watch brand? AP. Can you imagine? I've got 4 APs. I don't know. I've not really got one. This is Armani, but I'm not that big into watches yet. I'd love a Rolex, obviously, but this is not as expensive as a Rolex. Stop capping. No Premier League teams are working with you. Okay. It's for my PhD. We're working with 6. Mrs. Raptor.
Yeah?
Where are you?
I'm behind you.
I've got a green screen. Yeah. So she's behind the green screen. Poke your head round this way.
Poke my head?
No, not on the camera. Just be on the green screen. What do you want for lunch?
I don't know, to be honest. Are you fancying anything?
The classic girlfriend response. What do you want to eat? Don't know. You choose. You decide.
I was really fancying porridge. So I kind of said that I couldn't eat.
Do you still fancy porridge?
Yeah.
I could walk to somewhere to get you. Oh, my camera's gone.
No, you don't need to do that because you need to eat as well. I doubt you want porridge right now. Bit of a coffee, honestly.
I could go get you a coffee then.
Okay.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, we're stream dead into here. This boring convo.
This is what the stream are here for. They're here for the key conversations around what we're going to eat and what we're going to drink. McDonald's brekkie. It's beyond McDonald's brekkie time.
Oh, if only you know what? If it wasn't past like 10:30, that would have been great.
I think they extended it to 11. You know.
Did they?
I think so.
Oh wow.
I would still get a McDonald's though. I'll be real.
When was the last time you had one?
I haven't had a McDonald's in such a long time. Probably like a week. Saturday Nando's, surely. We could get Nando's for dinner, potentially. We had Nando's last week, didn't we? Or was it the week before?
Not feeling that, you know. Like, I love the idea of Nando's, but it always disappoints me.
Yeah, no, I do understand that. I can't get an Indian for lunch, chat. We could get an Indian tonight. I'd be down. I make my own McMuffins, by the way, Ross. Could you make me a McMuffin? I would muller that.
I swear someone said that last stream as well. I feel like this is deja vu.
Maybe. Maybe. You've not eaten McDonald's for 20 years, so you're probably not missing out. I love it, but I'm just weird. I should really get a new camera and a new light, shouldn't I, chat?
You were meant to in the summer.
All right. Oh my God, my voice. Well, you're right behind the green screen.
They can't see me, can they?
No, there's a green screen in the way. I could just hear you very, very close. She's only like there's the screen, and then she's just behind the screen. You can see my big head on the wall. What does that even mean? What, the shadow? Yeah. You can see your big head on the wall. Oh, Nana Raptor. Sad to say I'm not doing very well at the moment. No, Nana Raptor's having a rough season so far. You've got this, Nana Raptor. I believe in you. Oh, Nana Raptor also captained Haaland.
Did she?
Yeah.
Aww.
I almost just said your name then. That was close. Are we actually expected to read the textbook in uni? No.
Oh, no, never.
No.
Honestly.
Pizza for lunch. Nah, the missus had Italian yesterday.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite philosopher? Immanuel Kant.
Is that because they're good place, or is he actually a very philosopher?
No, utilitarianism is actually quite interesting.
No, you do like utilitarianism, don't you?
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Yeah. Has anyone seen The Good Place? If you've seen The Good Place, great show. If you've not seen The Good Place, I would watch it. We're watching it at the moment, actually. I've watched it like 4 times, to be fair, but it's so good. Calvin says, get a tie. Yeah, we could do. Burrito for lunch? Yeah, we do like burritos. You sound like Aled Jones when your voice cracks. Give us a few bars of walking in the air. I don't think you want to hear that. Do you fancy buffalo chicken wings? Yes, please bring me some. Do you cite your own book in any of your research? Do you know what? I actually did. Genuinely. That's not a joke. Kant's Critique of Pure Reason. Excellent piece of work. Wonderful. Do you listen to any non-FPL podcasts? Not really, no. SDS I sometimes listen to, which is Sharky's podcast.
I listen to the Therapy Crouch.
Yeah, the missus likes Therapy Crouch, which is Peter Crouch and Abby Clancy. Clancy?
I actually do like the podcast, but I'm only listening to that one regularly right at the moment. It's good.
Oh, apparently. Oh, I don't know if I can share this.
Wait, is the Overlap technically a podcast? They're doing a podcast series at the moment, aren't they? Or is it more of just...
Yeah, no, that is a podcast.
I listen to the Overlap then as well.
Okay.
What's happening?
Chunks has just given me early team news, but
Oh, don't. Stress.
well, I don't know if it's only Chunks knows this.
Is it bad?
Oh, Chunks, you're a bastard. Chunks is watching the live stream. He's trolling. Chunks is such a... Honestly. No more help for you after that. No, it's just Chunks trolling. Look, he just said... he said, no Saka playing today, who has him? And then he just said that. Thinks he's hilarious. Thinks he's absolutely bloody hilarious. No, we don't love you, Chunks. Why is everyone saying hello to Chunks now? No, we hate Chunks.
No.
Not after that.
Nice to see you in the chat, Charlie.
No, why are you now being nice to Chunks? No.
He's a legend, that's why.
Chunks can get in the bin after that. Which defender from Everton would you put in your team? I mean, it's beyond the deadline anyway, but Tarkowski would always be the one, wouldn't he?
Oh, you know what? To be fair, I've been listening to the new Chunks and Philly podcast.
The Chunks and Philly podcast. Do you know what a wonderful little segue. I haven't seen the H one yet. Yeah, Chunks and Philly started a show together. What a pairing, by the way. I watched the one with Darkest as well. Darkest is a funny man. Darkest is a funny man. You got mugged off. ELB. Can he now provide real info? Well, Chunks is like best friends with Saka, so he probably should have asked him, shouldn't he? Let's be real. He should have probably asked him already. He probably already does know.
Well, do you know what Chunks' team is this week?
No, I haven't seen Chunks' team yet. You and Darkest should do one together, same builds. Are you... What, because of our bald heads? Darkest is balder than I am. Darkest is the baldest man on the internet. Oh, Chunks said he doesn't have Saka anyway, so he doesn't care. There we go. That's why he didn't bother asking the Saka. Oh. The bald battle. Maybe I don't think Darkest plays or watches football, to be honest, or will play FPL. Otherwise, I would get... That would be... Can you imagine Chunks and Darkest on a podcast together talking about FPL? Bloody hell. The Broadcast. Oh, that's what I should call an upcoming podcast if I make one. I'll just give you a little hint, chat. There could be a podcast coming next season. I'll just leave it there. Just say maybe. Philly is a joker. Philly is a funny guy, yeah. Right, do you know what, chat? I'm hungry, sadly. So I'm going to go either order or cook some food. Realistically, order because I don't have any food in my apartment, flat, studio. But cramp. I love you all very much. I will catch you in the next one. And fingers crossed, Haaland stays quiet. Martinelli scores a hat-trick. And Darwin scores a brace. And I will catch you all very soon. See you later, guys.